Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you so much for joining us. As we always do, make sure you hit that like button. Again, as you come into the chat room, make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Again, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. While you're there, guys, make sure you get all your merchandise. Again, all your merchandise, your books, your shirts, all your merchandise at dynastymirror.com. Make sure you go there and grab it. Also, tour. April 21st to the 30th. April 21st to the 30th, we are going to Sierra Leone. April 21st to the 30th, we are going to Sierra Leone. Come and join us, everybody in Sierra Leone. We are going to have an awesome time while we are there. So April 21st to the 30th, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com and send me a message. And then Patreon, become a monthly Patreon, patreon.com, search for Uhuru. Again, patreon.com, search for Uhuru, become a monthly Patreon. We really appreciate your guys' support. So in order, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you become a monthly Patreon. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com, all that good stuff. Without further ado, I have Sister Courtney Omega on with us. And the topic is, there's a lot going on with this election. Like, this election is almost on the same status of what they consider a third world country election in regards to what's going on, and just ballots being counted and ballots appearing out of nowhere, like 100,000 something ballots just dropped at one time. I think in like Michigan or Wisconsin, somewhere like that. There's just a lot going on. So it's the political establishment sabotaging or getting rid of Trump? Do they not like Trump? Is this just because, Courtney, I find it hard to believe that more people voted for Donald Trump. And again, I could be wrong. I find it hard to believe that more people voted for Donald Trump in Joe Biden in 2020 than Barack Obama in 2008. I find that hard to believe. They said Georgia is about to turn blue. If Georgia turns blue, wow. Then I think that might be a wrap. But Courtney, go ahead, introduce yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Well, hi, thank you again for having me on. I like you. You know what? I really thought it was going to be close. I did. But I'm really surprised that for a couple of things. Let's unpack a couple of things. First of all, I spent the majority of my life being a Democrat. Okay. So the tactics that are out are not, like I said, as far as with the campaign they were running, I was like, okay, this is very typical. There was nothing new about the approach that they were having. Democrats, their usual approach is getting young Black people riled up, okay, into thinking that this was going to be such a difference once whatever overseer comes into the picture is elected. So, I thought nothing new of it. Joe Biden is not an exciting candidate in the least. Kamala Harris's ethnicity is a question, of course. She's conveniently Black in time for the election. I just literally found out the other, about 2 months ago that she's I think I did hear she's an AKA. I have a sister that's an AKA.
Yeah. So. From Howard, but that doesn't mean anything. I got Indian Kappa frat brothers, so that don't mean nothing.
Right. So yeah, I just found out about that. My sister's an AKA, so I get it. But even they weren't even pushing, like they weren't touting her when she was still considered to be a nominee. So I just said this whole thing is when the strippers came out and the hot sauce and the Timberland boots came out on Kamala. I just thought this thing is like a real joke. Cardi B was out. I just thought this thing is a joke. Well, so to see that they have, as you said, no pun intended, but trumped up 600,000 votes nationwide out of nowhere.
It has,
it blows my mind. And you know, I had my father on my show last week, and we were talking about, my father's a U.S. vet. He was Air Force. You know, he was in the Air Force. He's a baby boomer. As you know, I also had Sub-Zero on the show on Tuesday talking about the problem with boomers.
Yeah, hold on. Who on? On Thursday?
On Tuesday. I had Sub-Zero on Tuesday.
Okay.
And you know, it was very interesting because even though my father was on last week, we were talking about all of these issues that were created, and all of these issues that are kind of supported still by the Democratic Party, you know, years after the right to vote and all of these, you know, great unicorn policies they've always put into place. And my dad agreed. He said, yeah, you know, that's been bad for us as a people. But I'm still going to vote for Biden. And I said, okay. You know, and then it goes into what Sub-Zero, you know, when he was talking and speaking about, hey, these are some of the reasons why the baby boomers are failing the generations that come after. Because of the fact that we are, or they are rather, excuse me, my sound went out. But
No
they were, or I got another call. But it's funny that the baby boomers are kind of leading us into this never-ending cycle of dependency on establishment. And it was the same thing that my dad was saying, but two vast different conclusions. You know, and I grew up in a very political family. As you know, my grandmother was, she defeated actually a Republican candidate to become the first ever female mayor of Daytona Beach, Florida. She also was the first African American mayor of Daytona Beach, Florida. She ran as a Democrat. She was elected as a Democrat. She defeated a Republican, and she also received the hugest endorsement from a very Republican-friendly establishment, which is NASCAR. But the thing of it is that we've got to stop thinking of local politics on a national level.
Wow.
And I honestly feel as though that is what the huge issue with us as a people, why we can't get ahead, is because we can't wrap our minds around that. This is why I'm really, as much as I'm confused or baffled with how the shenanigans have been pulled off during this election, I'd love to see how this is actually going to play out ultimately. Because when you look at the dynamics of local politics and policies and juxtapose that with running the country, how are we as a culture, a community, and a diaspora going to advance and progress with national policies, with national actions that impact us no way favorably locally? Because that's really the crux of it. We're talking about local development. We're talking about local education. But yet and still, you think that putting the hope into what's happening nationally is going to affect locally. We're sadly mistaken. And if the 20...
Oh, you broke up, Courtney. Go ahead, Sub-Zero.
What's up, fam? What's up with you?
What's going on, bro?
Ain't
Courtney.
nothing, yeah, man, I was upset yesterday. I kind of calmed down. I've never seen anything like this, bro. I've been watching elections, probably since the late '80s. Like as a kid, watching them turn the states in, watching in '92 with
Can
Ross.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you now. Sub-Zero's on, but I hear you fine.
Okay.
Go
Hey,
ahead, sir.
and just just watching
But
everything.
yeah, I'm just saying if we're talking about education, we're talking about local development / gentrification on a local level. How are we really thinking that these national policies are going to affect us locally? And I think that we really need to start asking these questions as a whole community. But I see brother here, so I'm going to yield the mic and welcome and thank you again for being on Tuesday's show.
No, and Courtney, hold on one second. Courtney, let me ask you this. So people in the chat room, so these ballots okay. Now, Courtney, what's the rule when it comes to the mail-in ballots? Because for some reason, when were they supposed to arrive for them to be valid? By election day or after, Courtney? Courtney.
I think she gone.
No, she's here. Courtney.
She
Okay.
muted. Yeah. I don't know. I really hadn't checked into that. There should not be any ballots that are allowed to add to an election. You should not have any ballots arriving after an election. Also, both parties should be allowed to review everything. You cannot have precincts where in major cities opposite the guy that's up, and they board everything up, block it off where can't nobody look in there, and they're using the police and everybody and the attorney general to count. And all of a sudden they shaved off 400,000 votes from a 550,000 vote lead that he had. Now all of a sudden just 400,000 votes for Biden just came in Pennsylvania. Get out of here, man. You telling me out of all the votes they had left, he got 450,000? And now they got 500,000 left to count, 140,000 lead for Trump. What they about to do is, I'm like, man, yesterday when I heard they hadn't put in DeKalb County, I'm like, why hadn't they put in DeKalb County? Like DeKalb County is one of the, I would consider it blue. And then when you go out, I'm like, all the counties that are left are blue. And so the reason and people are like, well, man, y'all niggas sound like a bunch of coons out here worrying about Trump. Let me explain something. This is a chess game, okay? Wow. Politics is a chess game. You either play it or you don't. If you don't play it, fine. It's going to get played on you, whether you want it to be played on you or not. When you have a guy who both Democrats and Republicans are outright just turning their backs on, what does that tell you? You see so many, I'm not the only guy on here on YouTube right now that has made these points. It's a lot of black people on YouTube that are making these points. Why is that? It's not like I can't give you substantive, tangible reasons as to why I believe what I believe. It's not like I'm just saying this and pulling this shit out my ass about the wall and about school choice and about the H1B visas and all shit. Though, just off those three things alone, right? The benefits that black people will receive from that. And now Republicans have turned against him. Mitt Romney couldn't stand him. They say Mitt Romney didn't even vote for the man as a Republican. So what does that tell you? These people are there. These Republicans, these establishment Republicans are bitter. They are part of the establishment. And I think that they don't want an outsider in there because he was loved by the people. Say what you will. There's no way in hell, but this guy got 3 more million votes than Barack Obama in 2008. There was no way in hell this dude got that many votes. There is not that much excitement in the black community for this guy. You telling me this guy got more excitement than Barack Obama got in 2008 when he was running? We know what Barack represented for a lot of. Now he was bullshit, but even still, Barack, even though I couldn't stand his ass, I have to admit he was a rock star in 2008.
Right.
There was no way in hell you was gonna beat this man in an election. You telling me 3 million more votes came in for him? Came in for this guy who couldn't even finish a sentence, who's been compromised, mind you, who has been compromised on record now. Everybody knows, not him, but it's pretty much, we have documentation that this guy has been caught cheating, doing all types of stuff with China. This dude is telling us he gonna tell us to weaken our economy, basically. So this is what he's saying. He's saying, I'm gonna get us off fossil fuels. Then he's a partner in a Chinese firm that digs for fossil fuels. What does that tell you? He wants to weaken America. And contrary to popular belief, A lot of us might hate America. We live in this motherfucker. Black people do. Black people, we are hitched to the American train. Unless you want to just hop a plane and denounce your citizenship, but half of us can't even afford a plane ticket. Let alone, most of us don't even have a passport. So, I mean, America, this country, we've died and built this damn country ourselves. And if we say we really believe that we built this country, then, every ally, they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Government has never been an enemy to black people, be it Republican or Democrat. It has ruined black people in so many different areas, from destroying the family to you name it, on back. And right now, you're getting the guy in there who's aligned himself with Black Lives Matter, an organization that is outright against the family, against black men, and Alphabet. That's what they about to push. That's what Stacey Abrams is. Stacey Abrams is Alphabet all the way. These women right now, when I went on Joe Biden's website, there are things he's promising to do with black people, and not just with black people, just with when he gets in office, that a lot of people, if they were smart, would take pause to. Day one, when we get in the White House, we're gonna change this, we're gonna change that. If you have a business and you don't want to serve, you got a cake, a bakery, and you don't want to put two men on the top, we're gonna force you to do it, or we're gonna bring fines in government. If you don't want to have same sex, or not same, what they call it, transgenders that want to go into certain bathrooms, you got to start allowing that type of stuff. And if you don't, we're gonna shut you down. If you got HIV or AIDS and you give somebody that, you shouldn't go to jail. Like, is this that type? These are the type of things that they're pushing. So that's just part of what he's pushing. I mean, now they got an Indian American tab on there. And I'm like, why do you have an Indian American tab? It's not even that many people from India in America. Why do you have a tab on your website? Because Kamala Harris is an Indian American. And Kamala Harris is about to open the floodgates for all these tech jobs for the Indians to come over here. They are going to run the tech industry in America. They already do, but they about to really run it. I got a job today. I got a call from about 4 different Indians today trying to give me a job. Everybody calling me on the phone to give me a job is Indian. They're not, these aren't Americans calling me. You know what I'm saying? If he'd have got rid of that H1B Visa program or cut it way down to like 10%, a lot of these jobs would go to black kids. When black people, I run the IT Academy. I've spoken with personally over the last 3 years. I've probably spoken with thousands of black people. I kid you not. Every day go by, I'll probably talk to 3 or 4 people a day, just normal. And let me tell you something. 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 are people that have degrees in computer science, bachelor's degrees. They got a background, they've been trained, and they cannot get jobs in the industry. They always get hit with, well, you don't have any experience. You don't have this, you don't have that. And an Indian can come over here with a fake degree. I posted this in the live in the group that I have with my students. And this guy sat there and said, man, I can get a doctorate, a PhD from India. This guy pulled out 6 or 7 different degrees he paid $300 for. He's Indian. He said, man, in India, we could just get degrees. So these people are coming over here starting at where it takes us, $100,000, $200,000 worth of debt to get to that point. They coming over here way ahead of us. And they helping each other. And so this H1B visa thing is a major problem, and it causes a problem for black folks. We got to stop that. That's what Trump was trying to stop. But I just got into it with Cornel West's son, and the first thing he told me was Donald Trump is racist. And I started talking about policy. I said, well, what about this? What about that? He brought up Charlottesville, the speech. There were good people on both sides. And I told him, I said, brother, let me explain something. I don't give a damn about a statue. You understand that whole Charlottesville thing is about a statue. You do know that, right? I said,
black people. It's not even that. If you listen, it's out of context. If you listen to the entire speech, then you'll understand the context.
Yeah, I did too. I told him, I said, man, I played that on my channel, man, on my YouTube channel. I actually played the video, the whole thing. He said under no circumstances does he support racism, white supremacy, and neo-Nazis and all that. I condemn that in the strongest term of the word. He said, but there were good people on both sides that want the statue to stay up, and people that don't. And contrary to popular belief, I don't really have a problem with a damn statue. In fact, a lot of black people don't read anyway. I'd rather leave that shit up until we get our reparations. That's the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't gonna read anyway. A lot of us ain't gonna. A lot of people, no, we gotta take them statues down. I'm like, that's the problem. Black people would rather die on a hill over something that is symbolic than to die on a hill for something that is tangible. We prefer symbolism, like, you know, a statue or the first black whatever. He's the first black president. Symbols, right? When I go on people's pages and I see they literally still. You got people to this day posting pictures of Barack Obama for nothing, just putting the picture up, like he's some sort of idol worship, like it's idol worship. I'm like, no. What about his policies did you like about Barack Obama? Nobody can name anything. You can't name anything about Biden's policies right now. We don't even know his campaign slogan. But from 2008, I bet everybody in the chat can knows what Barack Obama's campaign slogan was back in 2008. Yes, we can. Change you can believe in. Right? Ain't that what he said? Everybody, the fact that everybody knows that, and yet he got 3 million less votes than Joe Biden tells you there was cheating. There's no way in hell a guy like that, who we don't even know who he is, what he got. And then on top of that, I mean, he's a security risk. I mean, this guy's going to go in the White House, and it's pretty much well documented this guy's compromised by China. He's a security risk. He can't even pass a background check right now. If they had to do a background check, given his dealings in China, there's no way in hell he's supposed to be a president of the United States. No way in hell. Now I'm starting to look at, well, damn, it looks like to me he's weakening American interest in fossil fuels so that China's interest in fossil fuels can go up. So he's willing to bankrupt Pennsylvania, bankrupt Texas, and a bunch of other states so that his son and his Chinese partners can make billions of dollars while we suffer and lose jobs and the economies get shut down in these cities. Is that what we're saying? I mean, in 2016, on his way out, Barack Obama was talking about Donald Trump. Like, how is he going to be able to get these jobs and this and that? There's no magic wand to get these manufacturing jobs back. They're not going to come back. And I'll be damned. That's what Donald Trump did. And now it's like, okay, well, the manufacturing jobs came back. So, you know, my thing is this, man. Everything that me, the brother Pan-African, the sister that was on here just a second ago, Courtney Omega, we all seem to have things in common. We talk about tangibles. When I talk to you on the phone, Dennis, what are we talking about? Tangibles.
Right.
Real physical shit that my grandkids can use. See, because you can take a statue down, that ain't gonna help or hurt my grandson. But if I have my own bank or my own resources and our own land, our own resources, that can help my grandson. That can help my great grandson. You know what I'm saying? So it's about tangibles. That's the name of the game. And my thing is with Donald Trump, I believe he's the type of guy you can work a deal with. He's a businessman.
Hold on. 1 second. Gemini Alkebulan, like we've covered tangibles plenty of times. You need to catch up. Again, you need to catch up. Go ahead, Sub-Zero. And then I'm going to let, because Courtney's the guest, so I need to let her go.
Okay. Well, yeah, let me say this. The whole thing with tangibles, and I'm going to kind of dive into it a little bit. Look, man, if you own, let's say you own a business. The business is generating a little money, right? And let's say you got a little land, a couple of deeds or whatever. Not rich, but comfortable. If you just, let's say you rent a couple of houses. You rent those houses out, you pay them off. Inflation, things like that happen. That's a physical, tangible asset. If you have life insurance and you leave your children a few $1 million, or you do, these are physical things that can help Black people. You get what I'm saying? Right. But you can't afford those things if you're the least educated in this economy, because job market is a market. It's a marketplace. So the best, highest paying 6-figure jobs and more, which is right now, in order to really make some money and have breathing room, you need to be making over 100,000 right now anyway. Right. If you're making $40,000, you can't leave your children any money. You can't have anything for your kids. In order for you to really have something tangible, you need breathing room. Just in Atlanta alone, you're talking per month just for rent. $2,500, $2,300 for something.
Man, let me interject, Sub-Zero. I tell people this, man. Atlanta's so back when I first moved to Atlanta permanently in 2006, after I graduated from University of Georgia, in the city of Atlanta, you get you a nice 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, which is cool for a single guy, for like $700 a month. You're not gonna find that in Riverdale or Jonesboro. Like, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so, in order for someone to really have room to breathe, we need skills and human capital. But the problem is, a lot of these colleges and universities, it's getting to the point we're not even to be able to get into these colleges. All you got to do is just look at the actual data of where Black people are, not just financially, but academically, financially, and just look, and you'll see where we are. And then you look at the practices that we have, the way we look at certain things, and whenever Black people get into politics, the things we push for, and what happens when we get those things that we push for, does the needle move? And it doesn't. And so the symbolism of statues, kneeling for the national anthem, because I just told Cornel West's son that same shit. I said, man, I don't need a motherfucker kneeling for a statue and he making $100 million a year. I'd rather they put their money together and do something to help create a bank or something, not just a bank, that's the easy go-to, but there are things that you can do to benefit people. Like when Donald Sterling did what he did and they had him over the barrel, coming out with your shirts turned inside out and talking about you didn't want to play for the team because he's a racist was stupid. I would have said, look, you can keep the team, but every year you got to drop X amount of dollars into this Black credit union. See, that's some shit we can touch. I can't touch. Guess what? Now you got a guy that sold a team worth $2 billion. He's richer. He bought the team for $12 million. And the guy that bought it ain't giving a dime to Black folks. So what did we get out of that mixture? See, with Donald Trump, that's what I'm saying. With Donald Trump, you can actually get something tangible if you go in and talk to the guy. But see, right now we shame people for even talking to the man. So it's like, I'm like, well, damn, I ain't saying, look, I think if there was ever a guy in the White House who would actually sit down and do something, I ain't saying he loves Black people. This is not about love. This is not about racists, okay? He can hate us. I don't give a shit. He can be a devil. He could have on a Klan outfit. He could be a Grand Poobah in the Klan. I will walk my ass in there and sit down just like Elijah Muhammad, just like Marcus Garvey, right? Look these people in the face and talk certain and negotiate, man. That's it. You're not gonna get any negotiations when Democrats get in. They are going to ignore us. They're going to shut down the economy next year because it's about I want you guys to Google this. It's called the Great Reset. They are going to shut down the economy next year when they get in for months because they want to destroy small businesses. The large businesses, Amazon, Walmart, Target, are going to be able to gobble up all the small businesses. There will be no more brick and mortar stores, and they're going to bankrupt the shit.
Whoa. Stop right there. And then, Courtney, you still there, Courtney? Courtney. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? That's what you brought up Amazon. So Amazon just bought Whole Foods.
Yeah.
They're going to buy. I mean, they're buying up everything. But go ahead, Courtney. You want to add to this?
No, I said, you know what, brother? He's right on. He's been right on. Listen, you know what? We're so caught up in being distracted and being entertained. We cannot see as a people what's happening here. And like I said, you know, this harkens me back to my time in Miami. You know, I had a business that employed teen workers to clean up community, and these same teen workers, their parents would be, you know, they're uninvolved when it came to the political side of it. They're not coming down and supporting any type of resolutions.
And 1 second, Courtney. Sorry, not 1 second. And Sub-Zero. Amazon is thinking about buying CNN. And he already bought. And he already bought one. He already owns one. New York Times or Washington Post.
He bought the Washington Post.
Post.
I think when you get big tech.
Well, hold on. Let Courtney finish, then we'll cover that.
Yeah, because I'm talking just in what you're speaking on, brother, in the smaller businesses. This is just something that maybe employ 4 or 5 teens at a time. But these the parents wanted to be more so in they wanted me to not claim that the children were working, so they still qualify for these public benefits, and at the same time calling me about when the kids are getting paid. But this is the pay that you don't want me to claim so that you can still get the benefits of saying that no one else in the household is working. This is where I said we have to, as a people, just really see what's at play here. I always say on my channel, watch the play. Watch the play. We got to see what's at play here. We got to see what's at play here. And is it better for us to, as a people, say, you know what, this is what we can scrape by, and this is the crumbs we can be given, or we can bake our own cakes and create our own. And this is very sad to me in this day and time. I was just reading some comments on your Facebook, brother Dinus. People talking about, oh, what are you doing? Why are you leading people down this wrong path? And I said, wow, we are really just as a people so confused with what is at stake here, with having our own, controlling our own, as opposed to saying, no, what we want to continue to do is live on the plantation. That's what we want to do. And as Brother Sub-Zero said, that's what we're going to go back to. So hey, we have to really look at these decisions that we're making and apply them, because over the next 4 years, you're going to see things drastically regress. And you're going to be wondering, how'd you get there? How'd you get here? How is this worse than when this big bad monster was in office? How is it worse?
They're gonna say that it was his fault, even though it might be 5 years from now. It's gonna be Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah, now his policies are just getting put back in place.
Yeah, these are the effects of the tax cuts that he put in place. See, the government wasn't taxing enough, so that's why right now, you can't find a job. Like this, that's how they think, and black people believe it.
And let me tell you also something too. When Ben Carson said the same thing that Kamala Harris said, Ben Carson was called all types of coons and all types of whatever, and Ben Carson got a black wife. But when Kamala Harris said that the 18 to 24-year-olds were confused and stupid and they weren't creating 2-parent households, and that's why they needed to be monitored. Oh, you know what? Sister speaking truth. A sister is going to get us together. I want to tell y'all, you know what? When this sister was speaking truth down in Miami, honey, I was regarded as working with the feds. I'm working with the feds. I'm evicted out of my own home, but I'm working with the feds. This is where we are as a people. I'm gonna say
this, man, and I've said this a few times. I think black people are aligned with evil, and I know that sounds real when it comes to morality. When it comes to, like, right now, most people in this country, if they are fair, know that they still in this election. They know they are. But when you have people that are celebrating it, knowing full well that it's a lie and it's just stealing, what does that say about your character? Like, and I know wait, don't nobody talk about that no more. But let's be honest. I mean, this is how we used to talk when you read the writings of Booker T. Washington and stuff. You probably hate him. He was a coon, right? But if you listen to him, he was talking about being a good person, having good moral character, being good fathers, being good individuals. That's not what this is about. Black people, a lot of us aren't about that anymore. It's, what I'm saying? It's about, like, they outright stealing an election. And, and then when you sit and say, well, this is a lot more complex than just racist Republican and good Democrat. Because I tried to tell Cornel West's son that, and I named off 4 or 5 different points. All he had was he's racist. My dad was at Charlottesville. My dad almost got hurt. Your dad was there for the cameras. Your dad was there. He gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by these white liberal organizations that built their money on slavery, like Harvard and Yale and Princeton. They built on slave money, right? And your dad gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be there, to show out in front of the cameras. That's what that was. Your dad was nowhere near getting hurt. But even if he was, that doesn't make it right that you want to tear down a statue. Because let me tell you something. Black kids a lot of times don't go to museums. So if you tear down a statue or take down a Confederate flag or something like that. I'm from Alabama. I see flags all the time. I don't get mad. I don't even pay attention anymore. It's not that I'm coon and I love the Confederate flag. I know what it represents. I know what it was. I know, and it really wasn't the flag of the Confederacy, but it was a battle flag of a certain battalion or something like that. But that being said, the flag does not stop me from doing what the hell I want to do. See, Montgomery is surrounded by red counties with people that fly flags, right? Like Elmore County or Tocqueville. Guess what? Montgomery, Alabama, is the #1 city in the United States if you want to run a black business. A city that is surrounded by racist rednecks. Mississippi, for all its backwards, quote unquote, air quote, backwards as Mississippi, red state Mississippi is, 35% of the businesses in the state of Mississippi are black-owned businesses, at least until the pandemic is over. When the pandemic over, it might be 5%. But right before the pandemic, as of 2017, there were 35% of those businesses that functioned in the state of Mississippi were owned and controlled by blacks. So even though we in the South, and the South supposed to be all backwards and all this and that, black people are flourishing, just like we did under Jim Crow. Now, am I saying that, hey, we shouldn't have fought for certain things? Yeah, I am saying that. But I think even in that, I think we should have just fought for equal protection under the law. That's all I really wanted. I don't think we should have integrated into that. You see, because they think when you
this is what the same thing my father said. I promise you, my father said the same thing on my live. He said that integration didn't work for us. This was a man that literally had returned from fighting for, his country, for this country, said integration wasn't a good thing for us as a people. But yet and still, with that same notion, like I tell people all the time, my dad is literally one of the smartest men that I've ever known. Brilliant guy. But at the end of our whole conversation, he said the exact opposite of what what all of us have been saying. He said, "Well, I'm still going to vote for Biden." I said, "Daddy, how can you take all of this and still say, this is the correct way to go?" And this is where we're at as a people.
Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Courtney, what can you explain what's going on with this ballot situation that's used to be in politics? Like this is unprecedented. What's going on? Like, what's going on?
Well, the key thing about this is that it's not unprecedented. Like I said, we need to look no further than
at this level.
At this level, no, because the 2000 election took it to this level. The only difference with the 2000 election and 20 years later, you would think that we would have advanced past. Of course, it's egregious with saying we found 600,000, because
right.
you even find 600 ballots. Those would not be counted. They wouldn't. But at any rate, when the 2000 elections happened with Gore and Bush, both men were coming into this party with nothing preceding them other than their political affiliations. Of course, Gore being Bill Clinton's vice president for his tenure. And of course, George W. Bush coming from being the governor of Texas, but coming from political legacy with being a part of the Bush family. But the reason for the recount, and I'm surprised that this is Pennsylvania that's allowing this foolishness, because I think
Courtney, there's foolishness everywhere. I mean, you look at what's going on in Georgia now, Arizona, Nevada. They're still Nevada is small as hell. It takes this long to count. I mean, Texas and Florida. What did they do right that Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada, Minnesota, and Michigan couldn't figure out? Then Courtney, she froze on us. Go ahead, Sub-Zero.
I honestly, I don't see this going all the way through and he just completely does not. No, there's going to be recount. This is going to be counted and measured. And a lot of these fake ballots, some of them going to get counted anyway, but a lot of these fake ballots aren't going to get counted. And right. I think a couple of these states are going to flip. Like, I think Wisconsin does not have a big enough lead. They were stupid. When they cheated, they just cheated enough to put him slightly in the lead.
I want to do this, Sub-Zero, because I want to watch the language, because we don't know technically they cheated. I just want to watch the language. Guys, hit that like button as well. So, Courtney, Courtney, since you're in politics or war, what's going on again?
I think this is clear what it's called. It's called voting harvesting. And it is done in massive groups. So instead of like going house to house and saying, hey, have you turned in your absentee ballot? What happened? And this happened with me with a campaign that I was running here in Georgia. We found out that the opponent was voter harvesting. Voting harvesting means going to hospitals, going to nursing homes, and getting their collection of votes right then and there. And they're holding on until, hey, when it's needed. When it was, these votes were not at every other place in the polls. My candidate won. She won early voting. She won the day of. She lost by 300 votes on the absentee ballots. Once the absentee ballots were counted, that's where she lost. She lost by 340 votes. So when you think of that in a massive scale, what you have is the voting harvesting being done at a massive scale, but they're being held until when it's not looking like the way it's looking. Then this is when all of these votes come in, when they know for sure which way those votes are going to be going. The same thing happened down in Miami, Florida, when there was an election going for the county commissioners. Okay, they go to these high rise that are adult living facilities, and
Right.
because they know which way they're going to vote, they know which way they're likely to vote. They know when to put that information into the system to be counted. Now, if there's a big enough lead, they never have to. They never have to.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So, I forgot my train of thought. Guys, hit that like button. So, is that legal? Can I go take a ballot, have somebody fill it out, then take it and deliver it for them?
It is legal. It is legal. It's immoral. It's immoral, but it is legal. Listen, when I ran for office as the councilwoman in Coconut Grove in Miami, Florida, I went, first of all, my first mistake was I went to the NAACP and I said, hey, listen, these candidates have done this and this has got to be wrong, right? And the first thing they asked me was,
man, she keeps freezing up. Go ahead, Sub-Zero.
The reason I disagree with her is because this guy did not get more votes than Barack Obama. Even if they harvested, there's no way you can harvest the 3 million. This guy got like over 73 million votes. There's no way this dude got that type of excitement when he couldn't fill up a doggone Walmart parking lot with 10 people. No way. There's no way this guy got more votes. Do you understand this guy got more votes and more support than Barack Obama? This is not just vote harvesting. And also, vote harvesting is illegal in certain states. It just depends on
certain states, right?
Yeah, so it depends on what state. Now, in some of these states, it is illegal. So I think in Minnesota with Ilhan Omar.
Man, stop the show. Dude, guys. Okay, I've watched videos of Trump coming out and saying how he does not support the Klan, does not support this white. He's done it over and over. It's just, we're dealing with a lot of low information people. And it's just annoying when these people come with the same talking points when the videos are out there of Trump disavowing white supremacy. Like we've seen the videos. We've seen him coming out and disavowing it. So, again, we're just dealing with a lot of low information people, and it's annoying as hell. But go ahead, Sub-Zero.
Yeah, and we're easily distracted. But I hear you. But you know what? In a place where you feel like voting harvesting is going on, if you feel that something is illegal happening, you know that under those states that where it is illegal, you have to make the complaint 2 months before the election. 2 months before the election is in place.
Well, see, the problem they have is the Supreme Court is now conservative. And this is why they fought so hard tooth and nail on the Supreme Court, because they knew that a lot of this is going to be recounted.
If it goes to the Supreme Court, right? But yeah, I don't know if it's going to go.
All of this is going. There's no way you could be out here in Atlanta riding around talking about you looking for votes 2 days after an election. No way.
Exactly.
So they cheat. This is straight cheating. And Trump, they're going to fight. Trump is not no done walk away type guy. He's going to fight he's not like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, there were counties where it was 100,000 to 400,000 votes all for Obama, and Mitt Romney didn't even challenge it. I remember in 2012. right? And so I just don't see this election walking away. This man really won in a landslide. I don't think there was any excitement. I don't think he had, even in the state
There
of,
was no excitement,
I was
but I
looking
don't think. I
California,
think that
I
we
was
need to
looking
look right back
California.
at the 2000 elections. We need to look right back at the 2000 elections where Al Gore won the popular vote, but Bush still had the Electoral College
So what you're
vote.
saying, so what you're saying is if 8 million people show up in California in a place that they doing rolling blackouts, they so backwards in California, okay? But so you're saying that not you, but a lot of people think the electoral, the popular vote means that righteously whoever gets the popular vote should win. Well, what
That's
you're
what they
saying,
think.
yeah, and I'm like,
That's what they
no,
think.
you got a bunch
Yeah,
of idiots in these big major areas. I'm sorry, I'm gonna call it down the middle. You got a
call
bunch
it
of these bunch of idiots, low IQ people that want to run this environmental stuff. We see what it's doing in California. That's what they
ridiculous.
tell you they're finna do. They're having blackouts in California. They're avoiding burning the forest. They're not managing that, so now it's always on fire. They've lost 1 million people in the last decade from that state, right? And yet we're supposed to trust that. And they went out the other day and voted overwhelmingly Democrat, supposedly. No, that doesn't reflect the values across the heartland of America. It just doesn't. Like, it doesn't reflect the values of Montana, Alabama, Mississippi, everywhere. It just does not reflect. So the Electoral College is actually better for because if that's the case, I mean, look, man, they got Planned Parenthood in high schools in California. Okay, they got Planned Parenthood in high schools, offices. Like, this is they on another level out there in California. Do I want that for my child or your son or daughter? No, we don't have those values. So the Electoral College actually protects a lot of us from stupidity of a lot of these major metropolitan areas. And that there's a reason that there's dysfunction. There's a reason that their death tolls were so high and stuff like that. They shut down right now. Like, these states are still shut down. The stupidity of a lot of these Democrat politicians is really why there's a lot of dysfunction in these major cities and metropolitan areas. And so,
And this really shows how divided we are as a people, how divided and how confused we are as a people. That's what I think is just so incredibly alarming about this particular election, because in 2000, I will definitely say, yes, I was, 20 years old. I think my first year married. And, it was just like, oh, wow, this thing is being taken. This thing is being taken. And we were saying back then, yeah, this is 20 years ago. We were saying back then, it doesn't matter that, Gore won the popular vote. It doesn't matter that Bush now seems like he's going to win. What matters is the fact that this is being taken. This is being stolen. So I want to know, where are all those sisters and brothers at now? Where y'all at?
I mean, how do we know it was stolen when they had a bunch of stuff came out of, I think it was Miami-Dade with the hanging chads that were questionable?
It was Volusia. That's actually the county where I'm from, the county where my grandmother was married. Volusia. Volusia had the hanging chads.
Yeah.
Pat Buchanan had actually beat out everyone else in West Palm Beach. That was the travesty there. That they said nobody voted for Pat Buchanan. How did he beat out both Bush and Gore? With the election, because it was the way that it was placed. This is where the electronic, ballots actually came more into fold. Well, so of course we'll see the reform.
Let me say this one thing also. I'm gonna say this. People don't want to hear this. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think Democrats cheat more. I just do. I mean, and the reason I say that, and the reason I would base that, what I would base that on is, you mean to tell me of people that tells me that if a baby survives an abortion, it can be left in a trash can, 8 month, 9 month, I'm talking about up until 5 minutes before he's supposed to be born, kill him, right? If you think like that, then we already know that morality-wise, you have no question about cheating. There's just no question. Now, I'm not saying that Republicans are angels. There are a lot of racist Republicans. See, I'm a conservative, but I'm not a fool, right? A lot of them are racist. We know this. That's not even what I'm talking about. But when it comes to cheating in an election, I will say that Democrat, all we got is the 2000 situation, which was questionable. I'm not going to say that it was just outright overt cheating, because a lot of those votes are going to be bad. And what they're going to say when they find out that 130,000 votes that came in at 4:00 in the morning on Wednesday morning were actually fake, they're going to say they stole it again. But it's not stealing. The man cheated. But 20 years from now, people are going to think that, because they used to say that Bush stole the election. He got in under fraud. And then come to find out, I don't know about that. When I went and looked back into it, because I was in college at the time, I was like, that's iffy. That's an iffy situation. I wouldn't just say it was outright cheating. It was some things that were questionable. But when it comes to this situation right here, this is a coordinated attack on an outsider who's not an establishment guy, who has nothing, who is really for the American people because he already has money and he's thinking about his legacy. And so he wants to be remembered as great. And so what he's doing is trying to build up America. It just so happens we live in America and we benefit, which is why you hear me saying what I'm saying. If he was trying to build up white America only and saying, we're going to shit on, excuse my French, we're going to screw over everybody else and we're going to set policies up to, then I'll be like, the hell with him. But that's not what he's doing. So that's why building a wall, that's why H1B Visa thing getting cut. That's why school choice would actually help.
Yeah,
that'll break.
I agree. I agree. I think that this is clearly a battle about policy, and we are so out of it thinking about who the person is that we don't realize.
Oh, she froze up again. A-Fold, go ahead, A-Fold.
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
Okay. I just have a question about why do you think we Black folks have such allegiance to?
Hey, son, you're echoing. Go ahead, say it again.
Why do you think we as Black folks have such an allegiance to trying to just not go against the fray and just trying to revolt on, like, I mean, not revolt, but we don't want to ever go against the status quo for some reason? Why do you think that? That's
I think that's clear. We don't like to be called coons. We don't like to be called, even when you're talking about at the bare core of everything. Like I said, as a councilwoman, here I am trying to get people jobs. I'm trying to empower the community with having a woman-owned business, because we were missing a lot of grants and a lot of opportunities for funding. But people were like, you know what? They referred to me. I was a female Hitler. That's what they were saying. I was a female Hitler down there. I was just trying to get myself together for me and my kids. I didn't care about nobody else's kids. So I am taking away from my time with my children, going to these policy meetings, going to these budget meetings, going to have these sit downs with the commissioners to sit around and figure out how we can get more put into our area. The people that gave me the biggest pushback was Black people.
I have one more question. Your guys' opinion on abortion. I don't really understand your guys' opinion on abortion, because I mean, I feel like there needs to be less. There needs to be less. I feel like babies, unwanted children in this world, who are just going to end up as just bad outcomes and bad statistics in general.
Oh wow! Can I take that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brother, let me say this, man. First of all, I don't think that if you use that logic, then you're basically saying because we don't want someone, their life should be exposed. We should expose of their life. They should be killed because we don't want to feed them. We don't want to deal with them. Inconvenience is as an excuse to exterminate primarily Black life is dangerous. We're literally destroying our future. We're destroying, our kids. Now, let me get it out. Let me get it out before you disagree. A lot of young people are for abortion because they want to be able to have sex with no consequences, right? They don't say it like that. They word it in such a way. But then when they get older and their wife get pregnant, and when she's 3 months, they don't say it's a global cells. They then say it's going to be a girl, it's going to be a boy. Oh, we can't wait, the baby. So
this is fact.
People know full well what they're doing. Every time abortion happens, murder happens. So I just don't see how we can justify that. Now, I think if a person was made to know that they didn't have that option, I think then from that point, what you would probably see is more responsible behavior from girls and boys and from people that are single. But if I know I can get a $500 abortion, I know plenty of girls. I know a girl in Alabama that got 9 abortions.
Golly.
Like she has no shame in it, right? 9 abortions, no kids, talks about how she's single, she this, she that. 9 abortions. Every boyfriend she gets, she has unprotected sex with. Behaviors like that, if she had to have a child and pay for them and feed them, responsibility in life has a way of doing it. Before we had abortions, people were responsible and knew, but now you don't have to. And so I'm just saying that's what you're doing. This is Bill Gates population control talk. Bill Gates was literally talking to the CIA saying that he wants to create a gene or a vaccine that goes into people's brains and stops their belief in God. Like that's how he talks. He says he has a vaccine he wants to create where he wants to control populations, stop people from getting pregnant. And he uses the argument that there aren't enough resources in the world, which is a lie because you can fit everyone in the world in the state of Texas.
I'm sorry, but that's the only point I just disagree with because, look, I mean, we have a problem specifically in our inner cities where just people are just running rampant and there's just so much chaos and etc. And these are the results of people who don't really want to raise their children. You get what I'm saying, brother?
And I think and I get that, brother. And I think there needs to be checks and balances before we kill children.
Hold on 1 second, guys. If you want to come on, if you disagree, email is in the chat room. Uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. I just get tired of people making their points and get somebody on here dying his dad. You come on. Emails in the chat room. Uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. Uhuru@searchforuhuru.com, and send me an email. I'll send you the link, and you call in. Or go ahead.
Look.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between, you're pregnant and your option is kill your baby. I just think there's a lot that can be done. I think that when people are irresponsible and don't raise their kids, there can be checks and balances put in where if you don't do that, we penalize you in certain ways. There are plenty of things you can do. If me and you sat down, brother, and there was an option to kill a baby or do something, I'm sure we can come up with a myriad of options and ways to, prevent that type of behavior and things from happening. But just the only option is to kill the child is child sacrifice. That's what I like to call it, child sacrifice. I think that's a contract in blood that we've signed as a people. That's immoral. That's just the bottom line. I don't care what nobody says. You're not going to change my mind, and I'm not going to change yours, apparently. But that's just the way I feel about it. It's immoral, man. And do you have any kids?
I agree.
Do I have any kids?
Yeah. And I definitely I think we're going to be real and we're going to be accountable. Listen, I'm going to be very transparent when I say I have myself, and I did it not because I couldn't afford. What I couldn't afford is for me to stop living the lifestyle I wanted to live. That's the real. I wanted to continue on this particular way.
Of course. But the thing is that, look, how are we going to solve this problem, right? With people who have kids, particularly not just in our inner cities, but just around, I guess, even the world, where they're just having kids, they don't know how to raise them, and it's just becoming a whirlpool of chaos where people they're just neglecting their children in general.
Who told you that? Who told you? You said around the world. You said around the world.
All these terrible things, right? And it's because they don't have a good family unit,
But who told you that?
On our society.
Yeah.
Who told you
I got some questions myself. When you say around the world, I want to know what other societies have you studied where this is an issue with overpopulation by one particular group.
Africa is heavily overpopulated.
That's a fucking.
Give me a country. Give me a country, brother. Give me a country. Africa is a continent. Give me a country.
Bill Gates is cooking.
Give me a country.
Bill Gates is cooking you, brother. He really is.
Thank you.
I don't agree with Bill Gates totally, but everyone knows that having more babies is
no. Hey, no, hold on. Hey, Fo, give us a country.
Okay, my parents. I'm a second generation Nigerian immigrant. My parents are both from Nigeria. Okay, we can just say for in general Nigeria. Do you know how the unemployment rate's 50%? I think it's even more than 50%.
What's that have to do with overpopulation?
Overpopulation. There's not enough people that can get jobs.
That's a lie.
That's not the way overpopulation. That's not how overpopulation is regarded. You're talking about resource per person. That's how overpopulation is actually regarded. That's how they do the formula. When they're talking about overpopulating an area, they're talking about resources per person.
Okay,
so you telling me people can't get water in Nigeria because there's too many people going around drinking? I haven't been, but Dinus, please tell me people have a hard time drinking water in Nigeria. Please give me some reports.
Listen, there are more hungry and hold on, Info. There are more hungry and homeless people here in America than there is in Nigeria.
Are you serious? The last time I went,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The last time I went, people are begging on the streets.
What street? No.
Hold on, brother. Let me say one thing. I've been to Africa too, brother.
I've been there 3 times, man.
Where?
Africa too.
Dire Straits.
Hey, tell me where in Nigeria are people begging on the streets more than places here in America? Because I could take you to Skid Row in Los Angeles, California, and that right there is the worst shit I've ever seen in my life.
And I can take you downtown Miami. I could take you downtown Miami.
I'm not debating that. But it's so you're saying that the poverty.
But again, tell me. No. Oh, you're not asking my question. Tell me where in Nigeria are there just people just begging on the streets, just begging on the streets? Where?
But your argument is flawed. I'm gonna tell you why it's flawed, fam.
Okay. Hold
on, Omega. 1 second.
Right. Okay.
Let me tell you something. It's corruption. There's government. If it was functioning at its zenith and there was begging, then you probably could make a point. But you can't make a point when a country is underdeveloped. There's tons of corruption, tons of things going on. You got all types of resources, all types of bauxite and everything. And it's so many resources that have not been tapped into in Africa, so much so that what you would call overpopulated China is trying to get down there and get to it. But the people sitting right there, they need to kill their babies, right? That's backwards, bro. That's backwards. That's Bill Gates. That's who that is.
They all need to. There's too many people on this world. You don't agree with that?
You can fit
let me ask you this,
let me say this.
Let me ask you this,
in the world can fit in Texas, bro. Where you get that from?
Why does it have to? Let me ask you this though. Thank you, Sub-Zero. Why do we have to start with the African American community though? Why do we have to depopulize? Answer that. Yeah. Why is it that we need to?
There's people.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
There has to be some way. All right.
Because if abortions are to control population, why do they have 12 million ready to come in immigrants right now? But we got to stop having babies.
It's not necessary. Talk to me. It's not necessary to control population, but it's the control in the sense it's trying to keep down what may happen in the specific population because of the dysfunction. Do you understand?
Wait a minute.
Listen.
I love that argument.
Listen, I understand what your point is, but why does this rhetoric have to be made to African Americans? That's what you're not understanding. Watch the play. Watch the play.
Omega, also what he's just said is he's really kind of played himself, because what you're saying is someone has to make a moral judgment and say this person is unproductive, they shouldn't live. This person's productive, they should live. And the people that have this logic and everything that's coming out of his mouth, came out of the mouth of Cecil Rhodes, came out of the mouths of people that went over in Africa and subjugated those people and called them human weeds. Margaret Sanger, right?
Margaret Sanger, yes, the biggest contributor to Hillary Clinton's campaign. The biggest contributor to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Okay, let's talk about it. Planned Parenthood. Let's talk about it. They force people not to have kids. They force sterilization. All of this. Now, this is the thing. Black people have many options we can do before we kill our children. He didn't even want to talk about that. We go straight to killing babies that ain't done nothing to nobody. We went straight into murdering our children. We have been stuck at 13% of the population in this country
for about 40 years now. What's killing us is abortion, man.
Okay.
And my thing is this: I think if you don't have any kids, you really probably you want to have children before you can really just make that call and say, having a child. I have a son. Dinas has a child. Omega, Omega got, all three of us on here got kids. You know, early on, that child is, when my son was in the womb, he was alive. I knew that. And so for me to sit up there and make that call, there's no way in hell. Right now, he's 4 years old. I wouldn't let nothing happen. I'll die before I let anything happen to him. There's no way that has to be the number one option. I'm pregnant. I'm broke. Okay, well, go to school, get your education. Let's start teaching our young men to be more chaste. Let's not teach young men to be on Instagram. There's a lot of things we could do. Fix education. For example, school choice, right? Giving people the options of being able to get a better education. They're about to have better more human capital, be able to get better jobs. There's a lot of things you could do before you just kill babies.
I agree. But okay, so what if we let all those unborn children, right, come into the world, right? What would you think will happen more to our community?
Listen. You know what? And this is I hate questions like this, and I love them. One and the same, right? Because, you know, as you all know, my ex-husband is a lawyer, and he always said that you can't use two opposites to cancel out to make a subject true. So we don't deal in fantastical, okay, for one. We only can deal with the reality base of right now, right? What do we know from society? When you have a bigger option, you can make a better decision. So let me ask you this, eightfold, same thing, because I'm not going to talk to you about the populations that we've aborted since the onstart of abortion. I'm not going to talk to you about the advertisements and the propaganda that's pushed only in our communities to encourage us. When I say us, I'm talking about melanated people. I'm talking about Black people. I'm talking about people of the diaspora to eliminate our generation. I'm talking about you personally. Do you think that you do better in life when you have more options or when you have less?
When I have more, I think.
When you have more options. So if we had more of us, then that would have to say by sheer rate of that formula, there would be more of us that are working on cures. There are more of us that are lawyers. There are more of us that are productive members of society. Nothing about my legacy tells me that if there was more of us, there will be less of any of these great things. And it's a sad thing that you have been convinced that you think less of us would mean a better chance for that to happen. That doesn't make sense, brother. That doesn't make sense.
Sister,
that's not logical.
Sister, so you think, right, that by bringing in someone who has more of a chance, right, of going to jail, Why
do you think that because you're Black, you have more of a chance of going to jail?
I can't,
brother.
I can't. Hey, Fo, thank you for coming on, brother. Thank you for coming on. Talk by say.
We're gonna have more of us going to jail.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, man.
Hey, Sapase, brother Dinas.
Yes, sir.
Saka Fed. What? Sapase, ma boule, you know, meaning como é. Oui, meaning como é, bas.
Nagadef.
Hey.
So you're Haitian, brother? You're Haitian?
Yeah, Haitian descent. Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm from Miami. I got you.
Are you well, you obviously there's a lot of Haitians down there, so what are you, Haitian or Black American? No, I'm asking you a question, Omega.
She froze up. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
God damn, she got that cricket phone, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hey, peace to every one of y'all on the panel. Peace to you, brother Dinas. You already know. You know, yes. Unfortunately, I voted for Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did
I
too.
mean, why not? Yeah, hey, brother,
Yeah.
hey,
Why
brother,
would you say unfortunately? Why would you say unfortunately?
I voted for Trump, just like
Okay.
brother Dynas,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at brother Dynas on the timeline on my Facebook. I'm like, this man is going ham. I'm like, wow, because you know, it's a business perspective. You understand? And yes, Donald Trump say a lot of fuck up rhetoric. I mean, you can name it. You understand? But hey, you know, I say it benefit 85% of black men here in America from Trump policy, what he proposed, implemented. You understand? So, I mean, I ain't. I like Obama. I voted for Obama. Yeah, Democrat. Man, excuse my language, but fuck the Democrat. I call them the Demorats. You understand?
Hey, bro, we gotta watch the language. We gotta watch the language.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that. Well, let me turn my CV with it. Yeah, the Demorats. You understand? They're it's just like they never did anything to implement black men or black women, anything like that in nature. I mean, what they put on the table, besides what Ice Cube put in on the table, a Black America contract, whatever. You understand? I mean,
They ignored him
Demonize him, not just ignore him. Demonize
and
him.
lied on him and said he was lying.
Yeah.
Can't hear him.
Oh, did he go out?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
reparations.
There you go. Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. All right, go ahead, bro.
Y'all can hear me now?
Hear me now.
Yeah, brother. So I'll love to see black Americans get their reparations and things like that, you know. And I feel like FBA or ADOS or whatever, you know, I think that the entitlement of black Americans giving their name is just totally stupid. I feel like all of them come together, then to get with Ice Cube, then to get with Ice Cube, ADOS, FBA, whatever you want to call them. All of them get together and just come with a construct to fix their communities right now. Like right now, I'm passing through Montgomery, Birmingham, Alabama. Boarded up housing. The road got a lot of potholes. I mean, it's messed up, you know. So my thing is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris gonna fix the infrastructure in Montgomery, Alabama, or all the black communities across the world? You know, it's gonna be the same thing. Ain't nothing gonna be fixed up. Same thing with Obama. Obama want to turn America into China. He want, man. I mean, oh man, and you know, my family, they're all mad at me because I voted for Trump. But hey, you know, brother Dennis, you're a businessman. I'm a businessman. I don't know, Omega. I don't know if you're in business like that. I got 2 businesses. God damn, you know, I applied for the PPP loan. I got that. Donald Trump, SBA, Donald Trump, the government, whatever. Got all of that. God damn. You know, I mean, like I said, I'm just, it's business perspective, not because of the Republican Party. I ain't none of that. I ain't with all that, man.
Agreed. All of us here are business owners, and it does hit you differently, just the same way Sub-Zero said when you're a parent. The whole right to life hits you differently. It hits you differently. Who is that right to life for? You know, it hits you differently. So unfortunately, we have become a people that have been very desensitized to our own destruction. We've been desensitized to it. So, you know, we can't speak on saying it only matters when our life matters when someone of the opposite race or another race is doing it to us, but we do it to each other all the time. And it's a sad day when you make a statement like that and you're regarded as some type of coonette, as some type of Hitler, as some type of deviant to society or your culture because you make that observation. We have, as a people, a hard time being accountable. And that's number one. On my channel, accountability is key. Accountability is key. We can't do nothing if you can't be accountable. We can't talk, we can't discuss, we can't do, so we cannot progress if we can't be accountable. If we can't be accountable, we can't do nothing. But we have a hard time.
Right. Well, like I said, you know, if a lot of Black Americans and, you know, Black women want to vote for Kamala Harris and vote for Joe Biden, and here's another thing I'm gonna put on the table. You know, I know a lot of you Black women, Black American women, gonna be whatever, gonna be on the comment talking whatever. Kamala Harris is not a Black woman. She's from India. Goddamn! Oh, she Black. She broke. Come on, you know, she's from India. Her dad, her father is Jamaican descent. Her mother is from India.
No, her father's a Brahma Indian in Jamaica. He's a Jamaican Brahmin Indian himself. So he's
right.
Brahma Indian too.
And I want a Black woman from Black America. Show me proof that Kamala Harris is she's a Black woman. Black, you know what I'm saying? Black America. I want proof of that. But ain't nobody stepped up to the plate and showed that, you know? And
if she was, you know, brother, let me ask you this. If she was an African American, would it change anything? If she was Black, it's not like they can't find a Black person that would do what she does. There's plenty of Black people that'll get in office and lock Black men up and do whatever. Just all you gotta do is just go look in any state government, in any state where it's a Black female or male, and there's plenty of them out there that treat Black people like dirt.
Even though she lay with a Caucasian Brad, right? Every night.
Oh,
does that make a difference?
That's part of it.
Shit, man. Well, you know, and it just, I mean, it's nonsensical, man, to every aspect of nature, what's going on here in America, man. And you know, and I want to say now you guys talking about abortion, how now with Joe Biden and the Democrats, right? They believe a woman, she could abort her baby and things like that, you know, and you got, you know, Trump, red wave. You not abort their baby, they should keep their baby. Now, there's a lot of now remember that judge, they just Donald Trump just confirmed, you know. Now it's gonna be a whole lot of awakening. When you know she's already in, you know, a lot of women that gonna abort their babies, they're gonna go to prison. Or they're gonna be dealt with the law. So you know what they got to say about that now? You know what I mean? You know what they got to say about that?
That's why I'm glad they put Amy Coney Barrett in there, because it's going to go to the states, and if you go to Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, those states are more conservative. They're not going to have you out here killing your baby like that.
But Georgia, I'm nervous about Georgia.
Well, we'll put it like this: at Georgia, we might can take off the list, but a lot of these Bible Belt outside of Georgia states, Arkansas, Tennessee, they're not going to do it. And what's going to happen is that's why they're scared. They want to protect the killing of babies, because you got 1.5 million Black folks in Alabama. They stop having abortions, those people would produce at a level, and they don't want that. See, you don't want people with Black people getting numbers. There would be more Black people in Alabama if it went for abortion. Black people that would be a completely damn near Black state. So would Mississippi. It would be damn near everybody will be Black. And not only that, when let's say you're a father that's a painter. If you're a father that's a painter You send one son to school, he a contractor. One son is an electrician and a plumber. Families where you got big numbers of kids like that, where it's 5 or 6. I'm talking about families, not just out of wedlock. I'm talking about married or large families. That's why they don't want you having multiple wives. Because if you have a bunch of black people with man, you can imagine what you could do with. That's how it used to be for us. We just done lost that. It used to be like that 100 years ago. My granddad had 4 sons that were all skilled painters. And my family was, if you pass it through Montgomery and you pull over and ask somebody and say my last name, oh yeah, I know about them. They were they were good. They were this, they were that. My family is known for that. Just like I know people whose families are known for laying bricks. I know people whose families are known for being electricians. It used to be like that. Now we've gotten away from real, like, tangible skills. And so, abortion has hurt us in a lot of ways, bro. It really has.
Right.
Hey,
and another thing.
Man, brother, I'm gonna bring somebody else, brother. But we appreciate you coming on.
Yes. Well, Adonis, can I say one more thing?
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing why I voted for Trump, I don't know. I'm the Second Amendment right. A lot of came out firearm. That's another thing that you need to watch out for the Democrats. So go Trump, red wave.
All right,
brother.
Brother, now where I'm going, brother. So I got fed.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Brandon.
First, I would like to say hello to everyone, and thank you for actually showing an interest in something that can really have a great impact on your future, despite which direction you voted in or who you like. If you're paying attention to politics, it means that you care about your life and your future, especially your pocket. Now, that being said, how many of us voted and we didn't really vote because Trump was in office or anything like that? We voted because we want to be able to comfortably go back into a fetal position or the position of sticking our head in the sand politically. See, we don't factor in how many people really vote for that reason. And for a long time, Black people, the vast majority of us, have just kind of been on autopilot politically. And we all grew up in homes where it was like the only time we even cared about politics was when the president was being elected. And the rest of the year, you wouldn't even hear a word about anything political. You will hear about somebody getting shot, but you will never hear about who's running for mayor. You'll hear about somebody getting shot, but you'll never hear about who's running for a city council seat.
That's where I was different. I grew up in a very politically astute family.
Yeah,
politically.
Your family is smart, which in your father, his situation shows that even the intelligent among us are not exempt from ignorance, right? But the thing is,
absolutely.
I
love my daddy. Love my daddy.
Yeah, I love him too. He's a great guy, I guess. But the thing is, I grew up in the hood, and most of my friends are from the hood. And when I see women and men from the hood like me talking about, yeah, I voted, and then they don't say who they voted for, but then when someone gets on there like, who you vote for, they won't admit it, but then they start arguing, and they say, well, I voted for Biden because Trump doesn't support homosexuals and all that stuff. And they don't even understand that the homosexual stuff is a state issue. It's up to your state what they want to do with homosexual stuff. And even if he was or wasn't, it has nothing to do with who's president of the United States. And nobody should, I'll support you, wanting to marry another man or whatever you want to do. Because I realize that who you want to marry is of no importance. I'll sell you a cake. I'll marry you if you pay me money. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. That's a personal issue. But the ultimate point I wanted to get to was, just like Omega said, the one brother who came on talking about abortions, it's like this. If population control is a problem, we need to be going to talk to China, because they're the ones with the least amount of resources in their country, with the most people, doing the most polluting on the planet. Black people got to do the dying to save the world. I'm tired of this narrative. I don't know if you guys are tired of this, but why do we always have to be the sacrificial lamb for white progress, right? Why can't we say, nah, let somebody else die and sacrifice and lose so y'all can win, right? But they pick you because they no longer have to pick you because you voluntarily do it. Please pick me, boss. I'll eradicate 47% of my population so that you won't run out of room in America. And I have a cousin. I always say I know a woman, but it's my cousin. My blood cousin, first cousin. She has 16 abortions, man. She has so many abortions that she was at jeopardy of losing her life because she developed a bunch of blood clots inside her body from having so many abortions. And it wasn't until she was under the threat of death that she came to us and admitted what she had done and what could potentially be the outcome. You care about your life, but you don't care about the lives of the lives that you're destroying because you're using abortion as a form of birth control. And then what doctor looks at your medical chart and sees that you've had 15 abortions and says, yo, I'll do another one? What doctor looks at your medical chart and say, you've had 10 abortions?
Hold on, hold on, stop the show. I want to show you guys something. So here in Georgia, let me show this to you guys. And guys, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Again, please hit that like button. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, come up. So basically, if your vote was rejected, you in Georgia, you still, I guess if your ballot was rejected because you filled it out wrong, you still have the opportunity to fix it today. It's crazy.
Yeah, of course. It's all because they know all those last minute, oh, I would have voted for Biden, but I was too lazy to show up to the polls. They'll find the energy today because they got the TV telling them they want Biden to win. It's all about, Dinus, like I tell you, it's a race to 270, and whoever gets there first wins, right? So they're trying to hold on to Trump's delegates so he can't get there before Biden because people don't understand that as states come in, a lot of people just want to be on the side of the person who won. So it impacts momentum. If your voting polls are open and you're like, yo, Trump won every state except for Michigan, and Michigan might go the other way, and you're a Trump voter who was like, maybe you were at work or you weren't going to show up, you might get up and say, man, I got to get to the polls if you're on the West Coast or whatever. This is how it works. And also, when you look at the media and how the media portrayed Trump as being a loser by a landslide, you will also understand that that's used to kill momentum, on the side of that person.
Hey, I'm out, man. I'm out, Dinus. I'm out, man. Have a good one, man. I see y'all.
Okay. All right, for sure.
Hey, Dinus, you ever turn?
Hold on 1 second. Niger. Go ahead, Niger. I know you're on your way.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, thank you for having me. I just thought I should just join the conversation since it's getting a little bit interesting. Brandon, nice. Are you back in the US, eh?
Yeah, I'm on my way back to Kenya this month.
Ah, okay, good. Yeah, you were looking fresh over there. So, yeah, it's all good. Welcome. So about this thing about Democrats and Republicans, you see, from my point of view, our community, we do have our rights to vote, choose whatever side we belong in. Because I saw that Brian, this in Dinah said something about voting for the Republicans.
Yeah,
and so I don't have any issue with people believing that okay, this party might actually favor us a bit more than the other. Because both of them have failed us, so you can't say the Democrats have done so much for us or the Republicans have done that much for us. So I get that argument. However, there is this aspect that we seem to be mixing up. Sometimes we just come across and start saying things as if there is factual or, people are evil, like the Democrats are evil, the Republicans are evil. I've said it before, the Republicans are fighting for their own survival because the white people feel that they are going to be replaced. The black people are fighting for their own survival because we fear that our population is not growing. They are treating us badly and all the rest of it. Everybody is fighting for their own thing. And the reasons why Democrats believe in contraception, it's not because they are evil. Because they believe that if we have too many people, it will be it will be inhumane. People are going to be suffering. There was not going to be enough resources. Some of these people, they believe they are doing some good. That's why they do what they do. It's not because they are evil. And the same thing for Republicans. Republicans believe that every life is sacrosanct, except of course when they are going to wars and killing people and all the rest of it. So everybody, it's human nature to want to have some kind of disagreement. I agree. I see that now. Because everybody believe in what they want to believe. So, but we have to try to keep it civil, because what I see going on online is that it's almost as in that case where they say they give us a rope to hang ourselves. People go and say things that is not educated. Some people were insinuating that by this Biden, people are trying to steal the election, and if they wanted to steal election from Trump would never be a president in the first place. So,
bro, what are you talking? First of all, what are you talking about?
Trump will not be a president in the first place.
Listen, bro, the Democrats stole 2 elections from Bernie Sanders. Earlier this year in March, they got caught trying to put dead bodies on the ballots in primaries in Arizona. What do you mean, bro? Do you understand that this is like the argument Biden makes for China? What reason do they have to try to do harm to the United States? Man, listen. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's a saying they have in America. You guys, I mean, you're Nigerian, so you think that the white man is inherently good. You guys think it ain't about color, but bro, it is about color and it is about cheating. That's why you guys have a lot of billionaires, but the majority of your population is poor, because you guys think that God's gonna work it out or people are inherently good. People are not inherently good. People are inherently messed up. So that's why they try to steal and take things. Because why does the establishment want Trump to win? They want to keep things in line, the secession they want, because that's what benefits them the most. That's why they want to get Trump out. Trump's offering your black people something. And for you to sit here and try to say, like, why would they want to take it away? Well, why have they always wanted to disenfranchise black people? That alone is a reason for them to steal the election away from Trump. Because Trump had the audacity to go online and offer black people billions of dollars. Do you know when he did that? Do you know how many white people that? Bro, listen. Do you know how many?
You actually think because of the black community, they literally want to stop Trump from becoming president for that reason alone?
Do you actually think Nigeria is a good country? Answer me this. Do you think Nigeria is a good country?
Nigeria is a good country and it has its position.
Do you think Nigeria is a good country? Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I could sit up and highlight every messed up thing in Nigeria and say you're totally an idiot for thinking Nigeria is a good place, but you're optimistic and you know what's going on in Nigeria, right? Yes, they will. Black people impact stuff despite what you guys think. If you guys think you are important, how much more important do you think Black America is when we have way more money than you, way more influence than you on everything? How you can't discredit Black America and then think that Nigeria is relevant? It's idiotic.
I'm not discrediting Black America. I'm just saying
you are, because you're saying Black America is not reasonable.
They are trying to cheat a fellow white man. You remember, Trump is a white man, so don't make that mistake.
The white man does not listen. The white man
from being in office that is putting white judges, loading
the Civil War.
White judges.
The Civil War never happened.
White judges. You are saying they will deprive him of that position because of black people.
Did the Civil War happen? Yes or no in America?
Yes, it did.
Who participated in that war majorly? Was that white on white crime?
All of them. Yes,
so
of course.
Why do you think it's beyond reason to believe that white people actually work against other white people? Do you realize that if one white man makes money putting your ass on airplanes and putting you in hotel rooms, and another white man makes money by locking you down and selling you a vaccine, do you realize that they're going to go to war because one needs you to stay still for them to make money and the other one needs you to move around for them to make money? And either one is being impacted based on what the other one's going to do. You don't think they're going to go to war over these billions?
See,
Of course they are.
what you are saying is a fact. White people, they hate each other more than even black people hate each other. That's one thing people don't get. My point is that to say that, we have to be factual. You can't just say somebody wants to steal an election. I know everybody wants to cheat, but it's a stalemate. Everybody wants to cheat, but they have processes that they can watch each other so they don't steal it. So,
and that's what we're doing, the process of making sure no one cheats. The Democrats are trying to cheat, and Donald Trump is taking them to court and trying to review ballots. Bro, listen, if you know one in America, you already know the people who were responsible to oversee ballot counting in several states said that when they went to go do their job, they wouldn't even allow them in to oversee the election. People said they were collecting their votes in plastic trash bags when they're supposed to go in voting boxes. This is facts.
It's not facts because it's not actually reported anywhere. Where you
bro, no, I can give you, bro, they're on the, bro, listen to me. People are already on all sorts of news outlets going in front of millions of journalists the people who were supposed to oversee the voting counting, they asked them, what happened when you went to go do your job? Even a black guy was like, look, I went there. They came out, said, why are you here? And they refused to let me in. Now, he didn't take sides. He just said, this is what happened to me. Now, these people are being unbiased.
Them right now. All these people you're talking about, Fox News will be highlighting them right now. What? Okay, let's say they're highlighting them. Is there any way Trump will lose that you accept that he lost?
Listen. If Donald Trump loses, let me tell you something. If Donald Trump loses, Joe Biden is the president of the United States. I wish him the best. If he wins fairly, that's good. Let him do it. I'm sure he'll die soon. And if he was going to live forever, okay, that's who the people chose, and the people have a right. I consider myself a leader. When you're a leader, you have to go for what the people want. You can't go for what you think is best. You have to go with what the people think is best for them. And if America thinks Biden is best, that is okay. But I'm not going to sit quietly by while they do things that we have never experienced. Like I told my friend today, this ain't Ryla versus Kai or whatever that guy's name was, where you go to sleep and Ryla's the winner, wake up the next day and the other guy's winning by 2 million votes. This American election is looking like a straight up rigged African election, and even you can't deny that.
You're still saying that.
It's true.
I can't deny that. So these people, they have CCTV cameras monitoring everything. Come on,
bro.
You can't even walk past your street without you being monitored by CCTV cameras.
And you're expecting
American that a voting station would not be monitored. Come on,
Niger. Ask any American you know. Have they ever seen this happen during an election? And they will all unanimously tell you, we have never seen anything like this. California came back in like 10 minutes for Biden, but Georgia's taking freaking 4 days. All these states, what did they do differently? The states with the highest population came back faster than the states with the lowest population. Come on now, Tunaja, you know that's bull crap.
If you can drive along the road and you speed and the CCTV camera can capture you, what makes you think the counting stations and everything is not being monitored?
You're thinking too narrow. Like, I mean, come on.
How are they not? No, are you telling me they're going to hack it?
You're thinking
the Democrats are not watching them.
You're thinking exactly. The Democrats are watching them, and there's already been proof that they haven't been allowing the Republicans to come in and monitor as well. So that's why Donald Trump
is a Republican state.
Let me finish. That doesn't mean Tunaja, you don't know how it works. So that is why.
Okay, explain it then.
No, so basically, Donald Trump has filed several lawsuits, right? Because in some of these polling stations, they're not allowing Republican, I guess, monitors to come in and properly monitor what's going on. So Donald Trump had to file lawsuits in several states for that to happen. So
if they are breaking protocol, then obviously he has a right to file any lawsuit that he wants to file.
That
is fine. I think if there's rigging, clearly nobody wants rigging and nobody wants one side to cheat the other side. That is fine. But some people were talking about Democrats stealing election. Democrats win popular vote and lose election twice in a very, very short period of time.
That is because that's the way America works.
That's how America works, bro.
I agree, but to accuse them of stealing election when they lose so badly in so many easy ways, they have been maltreated. See, look at Trump. Didn't even get the popular vote, yet he's appointed 3 Supreme Court justices in that country.
Tonight,
bro, that has nothing to do with anything.
Hold on, Brandon. Tonight, you don't understand how politics work in America. It has nothing to do with the popular vote. It's all Electoral College and all who's in power.
Yeah, I understand that, but my point is that.
But the points you're bringing up are not valid because you don't understand how politics work in America. So you saying it's not fair that Trump got to appoint a Supreme Court judge, but he didn't win the popular vote. What does that have to do with anything? That's not how it works.
That's how it works because they denied Obama his own this injustice too. You know that.
Nigel,
what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Nigel,
Obama wanted to appoint the Supreme Court judge, and they stopped him from appointing the judge.
That is because Obama did not have power in the Senate and in the Congress. They lost power because of their horrible rulership, and they lost power in the House, in the Senate. Obama couldn't appoint because he didn't have the power. Trump had the power in the Senate and the House, so he appointed. He did what he was going to do. Either one of them would have done that if they would have had the ability to do it. Let me ask you a quick question. What county is Las Vegas located? The city of Las Vegas. What county is it located in? Las Vegas, Nevada.
Is it not this county? In terms of county, I don't know. I think I think they were talking about it on TV today. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, it's voted in Clark County. So if you look at the way counties are set up, you have Democratic counties where the county is totally Democrat, but it's in a Republican state. So when you go into certain counties, you have a large majority of Democrats. And so what's going on is in those Democratic counties, they are refusing to allow the Republican oversight or the unbiased people who are supposed to watch the ballot county. They're refusing to let them into the polling stations to see what's going on and make sure everything's going according to plan. That's what's going on, bro. No one's talking about Biden. Bro, if Biden loses, wins, whatever, I'm a Pan-Africanist person. My goal is to go to Africa. Will it hurt my ability to do so? Yeah, a little bit, but ultimately it's not going to impact me. It will hurt my business interests in America if we shut down. Yes, but I don't really care if Biden wins. I did the same thing I was going to do whether Biden or Trump won today, win and train my dogs, right? So what you got to understand, it ain't about being biased. It's all about, we are not about to sit by and allow somebody to manipulate an election, especially when so many Black people have showed a willingness to actually wake up and vote in their best interest, period. Because do you understand what that does to the morale of our people when they finally wake up and say, you know what, for the first time ever, I'm voting based on what's best for me. And then you got a bunch of Democrats still in the election. Some of these people will never vote again.
Please. When we say people are still in election, Republicans are not weak. They run the whole show. They run the whole system. They are not weaklings that will just sit there and allow themselves to be cheated. They own the judges. They own the Supreme Court. They own the Senate. They literally own the
Tonight, again, you don't understand how it works, bro. That's why we got to move on. It's like me arguing politics with a Nigerian. Like I'll admit I don't understand how Nigerian politics works. So I just sit back and listen. But you're making assumptions or statements, and you just don't have the facts. That's just not how it works.
See, if you dispute my point, you can tell me that the Republicans are not in charge of all these institutions.
No, bro. But Brandon just told you how it works at a lot of these polling stations as far as where they're located in, we'll say, blue Democratic strongholds. All right. Yes. So again, once again, Niger, Donald Trump sued certain states because I would say Republican moderators weren't given proper access to some of these polling stations in these Democratic ran cities. Do you understand that?
I agree with that, and I agree that
So where does all this power and all this other
because Brandon is repeating something, and you didn't challenge him that Democrats are trying to steal the election.
Bro, do you understand that this is what we're doing and what you see on the news is a part of the same white people you are saying run things and have power? This is the process of them flexing their power to dispute what they feel is a rigged election. So you are acknowledging the strength of the power they have, but then you sit up and basically discredit or dispute the process. Bro, that's what they do. They go to court. That's flexing their muscle. The judges, right? You said they got judges and everything, right? Well, where do you go to go bring it before your judge? You got to go to court. How do you go to court? You file a lawsuit. So what are you talking about? They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and all we're doing is covering it and giving our opinion on it.
I agree with many of your points that, okay, that is good that Trump files this in, but what I disagree with is saying one part just wants to steal the election without any direct evidence of it, because it misleads people. It misleads people. That said, about the abortion issue that we were talking about, white people are experiencing the same thing, but they control their own birth rate using contraception. Why black people end up with abortions far more. So this is the same thing that is happening to black people is happening to white people. The only people that are growing in population in America are the Hispanics, the people that are moving into the country. They are the ones that are growing because they are Catholics and they tend not to like abortion or contraception. So we should not be following the establishment tone or this message that says, oh, you have to approach your family in a certain way, that you have to control your population in a certain way. If we reject that, our population will start growing again.
Bro, listen. You can't reject something if you got people who get on this channel talking about we need to eliminate black people because too many black people growing up being born is going to just lead to them going to jail and just ridiculous stuff like that.
That's just silly.
Okay, so this is what you don't understand. When you see ignorance, you have to push back against it. You don't just discredit it and say, oh, everything's going to be fine because the white man, he has this stuff set up so that, stupid stuff can't happen for him. For all we know, they both could be in on it. But at the same time, we still got to make sure that we pay attention and call bull crap when we see it. Because
Brandon, most of the times you are correct with the point you are trying to make. But sometimes you have to go to where the person is. What that guy was saying was he's worrying about resources that are going to be available to the population that is being created. That was the mistake the Chinese people made. They created that one-child policy, and they are trying now to increase their population again. Instead, they are closing primary schools and nurseries because their population is dwindling. So people, if you made that type of argument to him and let him understand that it's not the reason why we are suffering as humans, has nothing to do with our population, it's us. We are the problem.
He won't understand because he's indoctrinated, period.
In a village will create the same problem.
Bro, listen, all I'm saying to you is this. I understand that you don't really know how American politics works, and that's fine because you don't really have to. But the thing I'm telling you is this. We're paying attention to this. Ultimately, this is going to... We're paying attention to this because ultimately it's going to impact our pockets, our ability to make money, and also even our ability to go to Africa. If they shut the country down, you cannot get on a plane to go to Africa. So when I see a bunch of people who claim to be Pan-Africanists in here talking about, Biden and Biden this and Trump sucks, I'm like, bro, y'all Pan-Africanists. So how Pan-Africanist you going to be when you can't even get on a plane to go to Africa? You can't even do nothing. Somebody compare me to Malcolm X. Oh, he's not deep like Malcolm X. Look, how many businesses did Malcolm X start anywhere? How much money did Malcolm X die with? What ultimately...
You're picking on Malcolm X. I think
ultimately, we need to stop with the freaking hero worship crap. In the end, the only thing that matters is results, and they got none. Martin Luther King, nothing.
You know what? I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on no result, but there's no need to, he tried what he could do.
I ain't worried about a try. I'm worried about a result and an accomplishment. Dynas is going to get results. I'm going to get results. So don't come talking to me about who did what. I want to know what the result of it was, because white people's not putting people in leadership who aren't delivering results, but we're over here hero worshiping a bunch of people. Yeah, they tried, they did, but guess what? They were wrong in a lot of things and it cost them. So now that we're right, we're going to keep on pushing on what we believe, because if a lot of them thought like we do, they would have probably made some damn progress. So don't compare me to no Malcolm X or nothing like that, period. I ain't over here trying to force no spiritualistic ideology on you and make you convert to some Islamic, Arabic stuff. I'm over here talking about based on being black, period. No, be whatever religion you want, but you need to start thinking along the lines of your best interest, period. And that's what I do.
I agree with that. If you have it, you see, that's the thing. Everybody that has been on this panel have the interests of black people at heart. Nobody wants to see us suffer the way we are suffering, and what happened to George Floyd happened to us. None of the people here want to see that. So we always have to keep that at the back of our mind when we talk to each other, because then you actually see the person for what they are. You see what I'm saying, Brandon? If there's any contribution that I'm making today, that is what I'm trying to say here. We all have our own points of view, and we are all in different places at different times. If Diana's 5 years ago, the way he thinks is not the same as he thinks today. So
no, absolutely true.
Exactly. So we're all in different places. So we have to remember that we all want the same outcomes, and that's why. Personally, I might even go as far as saying I support the fact that maybe Diners voted for Trump, and a lot of people voted for the Democrats, because we have to be who we are while we are trying to achieve what we want to do.
No, a lot of people, Diners voted for his best interest in the best interest of black people as a whole. A lot of people voted in the best interest of Mexicans, white, and immigrants. That's the difference. So when you argue with me, you're arguing against my best interest, and you're never going to win that argument because you do not know what's best for me or African Americans. We do, so we vote for that. But some African Americans have been brainwashed into thinking that putting other races over yourself is going to give you some type of moral victory. That's why you go to church, eat that cracker from that cracker and drink that juice and think that you're going to get saved, because you think that ingesting the spirit of a cracker is going to help you. Is that in your best interest? No, it's not. But you think that, so are you right? No. Just because you think something doesn't make it right. You think that Jesus is your savior, but he's not. But you'll argue me up and down about it. But then when I do something that's actually benefiting me and is going to benefit me, and I can show you tangible proof, you're like, no, Brandon, everybody goes into their own, gets to where they are at a certain time. No, because we got black people over here who have been ignorant their entire life, and it's cost them everything. So no, I don't accept that. What I know is, if you want to change something, you go out and change it. And all those people talking about just wait and go along and get along and eventually everybody going to come, those people going to be sitting on a rocking chair talking about wearing Black Lives Matter shirt like the old people in my family, looking stupid as hell.
Okay, you see, your family, they're not stupid. Let me see. The point is,
no, many of them are stupid. Many of them are stupid.
See, Brandon, I think you are correct in many of the points you make, but the way you deliver it, you're not going to get anywhere.
It's always back to delivery. It's always back to delivery, dude.
Of course,
you are on
a wall. If you think you can walk through a wall, try your luck.
Bro, we are sitting over here on YouTube speaking English, talking about somebody's delivery. You are Nigerian speaking to me in English, talking about my delivery. Come on, bro.
Because the way, if you don't understand the person, how can you speak their language so that they can understand you? You can't even understand anybody.
Bro, I don't need to, because I've spent my whole life learning and understanding black folks. And now that I understand them, I'm like, yo, we got to go a different direction. Because, period, what we understanding black people is not that difficult. If you look at white people, Joe Biden put Cardi B on stage in front of, on center stage in front of black people, and they supported him for that. Black people are not as complicated as you think. We like to pretend like we're so deep and complicated, but we're really not. Most of us voted because Biden supports gay marriage, or Biden is going to save us from COVID, or if you look at the reasons black people voted for Joe Biden, you'll understand we are not that deep.
Okay,
As a matter of fact, we are very
Brandon,
shallow.
if black people are not complicated, they are so easy, then why have you not been able to convince them and have them see your vision the way they are supposed to see? They are supposed to be simple, aren't they? But
no, because
if
black
you cannot
people
crack them, then you have a problem.
Bro, listen, let me tell you something, bro. If I go to Nigeria and I build an apartment building in the hood, in the slum, right? I'm not gonna be able to put water faucets on every floor. You know why? Because I know if I put water faucets in every unit, when I get done at the end of the month, my water bill will be astronomical. Because there are some people in the hoods of America, in the hoods of Africa, who will turn on a water faucet and never turn it off and just let it keep on running, even though they know that water and stuff is an issue in Africa, right? Right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're talking about the mindset of people, don't tell me. Different people at different levels have different mindsets and thought processes. And when you try to explain certain things to them, they will not understand what you are talking about. Period. They will just be like, because it's not the way they see things. I understand that with black people. You didn't hear me telling one black person, yo, you should just come to vote for Trump, because I said, this is why I am supporting Trump. I didn't say what they should do, period. I said, this is why I'm doing it. If you feel like I do, come on, support. A lot of people, if I say things, plausible deniability, stuff like that, they don't even know what I'm talking about, bro. So why would I sit up and waste 2 seconds worrying about what even to be let me say this.
You have a lot of passion.
No.
You brought up let me make just this short point. You have a lot of
one point.
You carry on. You have a lot of passion.
Let me say this one point.
I will advise you, just take time to listen to people a little bit. Then if you can get to where they are, believe me, you go a long way.
Bam, I want to say this one point. We talked about Malcolm X, right? But do you realize that before Malcolm X even was the person he was, he had to sit down, take his time out and study and learn so that he then could become who he became and go speak to others. We got a bunch of people who don't even have the discipline to sit down and read a book, who sit up and talk to you. Oh, you think you're better. You think you're elitist and all that. Every hero they praise had to sit down and learn to become who they were. Now a bunch of people who won't even sit down and learn about who they are, where they came from, what's best for them. They're saying, I think I'm better. Listen, the reality is this. There are some black people who are just better than other black people, because some black people are willing to sit down and learn who they are, where they came from, and what's best for them. And being better or whatever doesn't require you to have money or nothing else. All it requires is for you to desire to be better than what you are, and be willing to take the time out to sit down and take in the knowledge you need to do that. That's it. So if you say Brandon thinks he's better, well, guess what? I am better than a lot of people, and there are a lot of people better than me. But I'm willing to work to be better every day. So if you're not willing to do that, yes, I am better than you, and I have no shame in saying it.
I think when we say we are better than people, we have to know what we are describing. If you say you are better than people in terms of being conscious about African Pan-Africanism and stuff like that, yes, you are way ahead of so many people. But when we are talking about generality and just saying I'm better than people, personally, I don't like saying that, because I believe we all have something to offer in this world. When we think we know more than everybody, the world has a way of surprising you. And so I have that sense of humility to try and be humble about these things, and I will advise you to do that. You see, Brandon, I really do see that most of your points are correct. I keep saying that, but you are in your own way.
Explain this to me. Joe Biden, I will concede this point to you. I will tell you you are 100% right, and I will say you are smarter than me and you know more than me. If you can explain to me, based on your reasoning, what you're saying, how is it that Joe Biden has done nothing but talk down to and degrade black people for his entire life, and black people went and voted for him in masses? If you can explain that to me, then I will accept your point of humility being the key to get black people to understand you, because these white people have dogged black people out for decades, and we just went out and voted for this guy 80%. So explain to me how that works.
Explain why they did what they did for this in Joe Biden. One, because of Obama. Joe Biden did served as Obama's VP, and he was loyal through the end of it. And at least from the point of view of black people, they felt he did them some solid there.
So when he talked down to black people, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm asking you. Joe Biden talked down to black people his whole life, and and they're voting for him. I'm asking you, black people still voted for a guy who talked down to them and really hurt their families, broke their families up.
I just told you the reason why. Without that, I can tell you that not one black person, most black people will actually hate Biden, if not because of Obama.
But at the end of the day, did how Joe Biden talked to them impact whether or not they voted for him?
No, like I said,
okay, wait, stop right there.
Why?
What did you just say? You just said no. But you're trying to convince me that the way that I talk to a black person is going to influence what a black person does. Niggas love people who degrade them. That's just the way it is.
See, no, because there is a reason why.
Listen, Joe Biden degraded black people for decades, and they went and voted for him. That leads to one conclusion, simple math. They love people who degrade them. Don't tell me to be humble when the guys who degrade them are getting chosen.
Trump did not degrade black people. Trump literally kicked black people out of his hotel. Said that this is New York people were the killers. This is a guy compared to Biden. Trump is worse.
I'm asking you. We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about Joe Biden.
There are only two options.
Stay on point. Nigel, stay on topic. You told me that if I am, listen, this is what you said. You said, Brandon, you need to be more humbled in your delivery if you want black people to listen to you. And what I'm saying to you, Nigel, you're my good friend. You support me on Facebook or YouTube. I appreciate it. I want to ask you a question. If the way I talk to black people impacts anything they do, right? Why is it that a person who degraded black people way more than I ever have, to the point of physically doing things to hurt them, why is it that when you go talk to black people, they overwhelmingly supported that person? It literally debunks your whole argument.
You want me to answer it because you are not the only option. But
okay, so why does Jason Black why does Jason Black have 100,000 followers, 6,000 people watching on his channel every time he goes live? All he does is degrade black people, and we have 500 or 600 people watching. So the guy degrading black people has 6,000 people watching, and the people talking nice to black people has 500. You gotta explain that to me, since you're making that point. This dude talk about people's mamas, kids, you stupid. He said all types of derogatory stuff. He told a lady, look, your husband is broke. He asked the lady how much her husband made. She told him, he said, your husband is broke and he's dumb. You may not respect him, but you will respect me. That lady sat on there for 30 minutes answering Jason's questions and never got angry or nothing. So you're going to have to explain to me, if black people would listen to me, if I delivered my message a little bit softer to them, right? Why is it that overwhelmingly we massively support people who degrade us and talk down to us? Please explain that.
Okay, your mistake is that you're saying whether I'm saying that you should talk to black people more softly. No, I'm saying you should talk to them where they are. You can be as strong as you want, but it's not intelligent if you're not seeing where they are, and it's like you're talking to a brick wall.
Bro.
In the case of Trump or Biden, there are only two options. You are not the only two options. There's Diners, there is Lou Major, there is all kinds of people out there.
Jason Black is black. He's not white, to answer somebody's question. He's black, and he degrades the hell out of black people, and they go on. And black people are actually smart. He degrades the hell out of them, and they're watching him by the thousands. That guy gets more people watching him than Roland Martin.
True.
People like stuff like that. You know how people are. There are so many controversial YouTubers out there. Everybody likes to go.
No, he ain't controversial. He's very factual, and he degrades black people. And black people love him.
I can't speak for him. All I know is
All you know is not a whole lot about this topic. That's all I'm saying.
You see, this is the reason why you don't get far with people. I keep telling
I'm
you,
not saying I'm better. I'm not. People saying you think you're better. I'm not saying I'm any better than Jason. What I'm saying is my delivery is my delivery. If you don't like it, you don't really have to listen to me. You don't see me begging you, hey, please, yeah, you need to see my way of view. I'm gonna go one way. If you don't go that way, that's on you. 30 years from now, we'll see where you get and see where I get. Period.
Yeah, you might be right there for all I know. But what all I can tell you is that if you want to move faster, you want to get out of your own way. That is just that simple. And like we just have to be, try to see that we have to use factual statements, things that are actually true. We can't just make insinuation because you are online. People actually listen to all of us. They listen to you, Brandon, a lot. So when you say stuff, you want to be aware that you are actually saying, because these things are going to come back. These things you are saying, people are listening to it and they're going to take it as factual. Maybe you are just saying it, off your head, but there are consequences to these things.
If I was going to be a politician, I would care. If I was going to try to be the savior of black people, I would care. But I'm not. I'm a person who's a Pan-Africanist person. I'm also a capitalist. If you want to buy what I'm selling to you, that is fine. I will give you a high level of customer service. Matter of fact, I will support everything you do, but I'm not going to sit up and change how I do things to fit a bunch of people. I support so many black people, and you know who refuses to support them? The black people talking nice to them. Oh, brother, I appreciate what you doing, man. Word up, brother. You know what I'm saying? Right on, my man. Yeah, I have black power, brother. Now, brother, will you support me by buying this book? Oh, I ain't got no money right now, bro. You take Cash App? Yeah, bro. I'm gonna send you some money on Cash App, bro. Yeah, and then I'm gonna come, and you never hear from them again. We're done with that. We did that for 60 years.
With that being said, guys, make sure you go to. In fact, if you want an autographed copy of one of my children's books, Cash at me, $20. So that includes shipping if you're in the continental USA. Again, $20 Cash App if you're in the continental USA, and I will send you an autographed copy of one of my children's books. Again, the Cash App's Amir. In fact, I'm gonna put the Cash App in the chat room. Cash at me. Again, Cash at me. Bam. And I will send you, I will mail you an autographed copy of one of my books. All right, go ahead.
Dynus, let me use a little anecdotal evidence right here to prove my point. Dynus, you're a very respectful YouTuber. You do not go in on people like Jason Black. You actually try to uplift people. You won't let people degrade women on here. You won't even let us say the N-word on here, right? All respect, bro, right? You got about 80-something thousand subscribers, maybe 90. I don't know. I don't pay attention that much. Have you sold 80,000 books?
No.
Okay, but guess what? Jason Black got way more followers than you, subscribers. That guy has 6,000 people listening to him when he opens up his mouth once a week. You come every day. He come once a week, and 6,000 people watch it. Does that lead you to believe that the way you talk to black people has no real bearing on whether or not they're going to support you?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to put black people down. I believe we can do better. And I tell black people all the time, you deserve better than what you're getting. But in order for me to make you understand you deserve better, I cannot come at you butter soft. It's called tough love. It's called necessary roughness. We need to be rough sometimes because our people sometimes need to be jolted back into reality. Because the white man has put our people to sleep with smooth talk. Smooth talk. Bill Clinton got on stage and played the saxophone with glasses on, and a bunch of black folks voted for him twice, and all he was doing was putting black people in jail this whole term. Clearly, soft talk ain't helping us. Clearly, jumping on stage, Obama, he's such an eloquent speaker. Oh my God, he's so amazing. That's my president. They love the way he talked to him. But what did he do for him? Not a damn thing.
See, Brandon, I agree with you on all these things. I think America has been diabolical to black people. And if there is so if I ask you now, how would you direct people to actually get something from either of these political parties and like actually make change? If you wanted to do that, let's say Biden is in office, what would you recommend, Brandon?
Well, here's the thing. Black people left $500 billion on the table, you know, by not supporting Trump. And the election is not over, so I don't want to speak as if Biden has won, because he hasn't, right? But what I would suggest to Black people is, now that you know Biden is here, right? He's close. He can win. He has a chance. He has a path to victory. What you need to start doing is, one, you need to start applying for your passport. That's the thing. It's back opened up. 2, you need to start saving your money. You need to start saving your money. 3, you need to start making contingency plans in case you can't pay your rent, in case you can't pay your mortgage, in case you can't pay your car note. You need to start talking to relatives and stuff. Look, man, if things start looking like they're going bad, we out of this apartment and we just gonna come to where you are, and we can scrap up together and at least keep you in your house or whatever. If you got some land, property, maybe you need to build a cabin on it or something. You know, me, I have 160 acres in Shasta County. You know, I already put a cabin up there. You know what I'm saying? Because just in case stuff goes wrong, I have a place I could go where I'm separated from everybody and I could be left to my own devices, carry my gun around and all that kind of stuff if I want to. But you need to start planning. People sitting up, oh, we need a bug out bag. We talked about being a survivalist for about a decade now. How many Black people you really think saved up water and food and all that stuff? Probably less than 1%. Well, now's the time to do that, because they're talking about more lockdowns. I'm fat. I went to the...
Hold on. Luke Major, go ahead, Luke Major.
All right. So getting back to it, guys, I'm sorry about this. I had internet issues. So what we're seeing right now, this is the first time ever in American history this has ever happened. And the first thing we should, before we actually get into what's happening, we should actually be far more alarmed by everything around it, around what's happening to allow this to happen, than we should be about what's actually happening. So a couple of things. First of all, the polls were not only off, they were way off, which means that whoever was polling, okay, it had to be intentional to be putting out polls that bad. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing we should ask is how is it that something this bizarre and out of the ordinary is happening, and there are not any journalists that are saying this stinks and are doing some, journalism and investigating this, because this stinks. How's the results from Arizona coming out before the results from Georgia or North Carolina or Pennsylvania? There is clearly something happening that is illegitimate. Okay? There's clearly something that's happening that's illegitimate. And here's what they've done. First of all, throughout the entire election process, all of it was BS. Constant misinformation by the media, who's supposed to be giving out information. Right. Constant misrepresentation of what Joe Biden was saying and versus what Trump was saying. Then not covering Joe Biden and Trump equally. Like, the mainstream media barely wanted to cover the Hunter Biden story. Kept on saying it was debunked when it was never debunked, right? And then on top of that, ended debates, just blatantly allowing Joe Biden to never have to answer questions, or even worse than that, pretend like they're asking Joe Biden a question, then let him lie and accept that as an answer, but then not giving Trump an opportunity to challenge. And this illegitimate stuff has been going all the way back to the primary, when Bernie Sanders was about to win the primary. They rigged it from Bernie, and then they've been riding this train on Biden this whole time. And here's the thing: we should be concerned, because this is an attempt at stealing democracy from the American people. If you don't like who the Americans vote for, that's fine, but you don't steal democracy. And then now, come to find out, the Democratic-controlled cities are not allowing Republican vote counters to go in and apply balance. Right?
And Major, in fact, it just came across the newswire that, let me read this real quick. Guys, hit that like button again, please. Hit that like button. The Trump campaign filed suit in federal court seeking to stop the counting in Philadelphia, arguing that its observers were denied proper access. That's been going on all over.
Absolutely. And it doesn't it seem, Tunisia, I understand that you have a particular perspective, but I'm going to assume that you're a reasonable man. Okay. Don't you think it seems bizarre that the states that Trump is clearly leading, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, the results there seems to be it's taking a very long time to quote unquote complete the counting and get the results out, but yet states where Biden has a slight edge, like Arizona, like Nevada, they're calling it for Biden fairly quickly. Don't you think that's a little bizarre?
I think it's this in the CNN. I think said they didn't call anything.
Whoa. Let me stop you right there, too, Nigel. This is what I'm noticing about a lot of. I want to watch my words carefully. Tonight, do you stay in the UK or do you stay in Nigeria?
In the UK.
Okay, dude. CNN is one of the worst sources to get your news from on America. CNN, MSNBC, even I would say Fox News. Like that,
all of those outlets are incredibly biased.
Okay, see, and that's why too, Nigel. Like you and there's some other people. When I hear these talking points, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Then they're like, "I got them from CNN." I'm like, "Oh, golly, man."
Okay, we got it. Tunisia, you got to think about it like this. Tunisia, be quiet for a second. Hey, Tunisia. Okay, Tunisia. Do you understand that if Trump loses the election, it will be the first time a Republican beat the Democrats in every single minority group and lose? Trump beat the Democrats for the first time. He got 20% of the black male vote. That hasn't happened since the 1960s. That alone should give Trump the win, but it didn't. Then he beat the Democrats with the Latinos, but he lost Arizona and Nevada. I mean, you have to start for a moment.
He insulted John McCain. McCain's wife campaigned against him. Can you imagine a widower campaigning against?
Black people don't even care about John McCain, so that's an ignorant argument.
See, in Arizona, they do care.
The whole thing stinks, Tunisia.
This is not Nigeria. In America, black people do not care about white people. They don't care at all. They want to get white people to give them stuff, but they are not going to decide something based on the way an old white senator who's dead was treated. No black person or Mexican is voting on that.
I just wanted to address the point that Diana's raised about whether I should not use CNN as my name.
It doesn't matter. Did CNN tell you that as far as he probably lost because of the spirit of John McCain?
The fact that I'm here, on this channel right now, and I watch Fox News. I actually even go on white supremacist websites. So let me tell you something. You have to have perspective on where different sources are coming from. If I'm saying something, there's a reason why that is floating to the top. Because it's more actually, I consider it, after processing it, to be more accurate. You can't tell me that somebody says the sky is blue and I look at the sky is blue, and I say, no, it's not. I also use my own eyes and my own ears. I'm not stupid. So from my
one thing I will say, guys, is I do think that people ought to think about, since this is mostly about black folks, look, Biden wins, Trump wins. Obviously, I mean, it's going to be, I think that, here's the deal. When Biden was looking like he was going to win, Wall Street skyrocketed. That should immediately scare you, because that means Wall Street knows that Biden's going to do something that is going to directly affect big corporations. And anybody who understands business knows exactly what Biden's going to do, and that is he's going to sign TPP. There's a reason that Trump has not been signing TPP, because Trump looked at TPP and quickly realized that, first of all, that is going to complete the deindustrialization process of shipping American jobs overseas. But secondly, TPP is the end of democracy, not just in America, but globally. The corporations will run things now. So you combine what's going to come, what Biden's going to do, which is going to be another shutdown, which is going to completely decimate small business.
No, Major, the corporations will run things now.
Which is important.
Corporations will run things now.
Well, he said,
no. When I say run things, I mean really run things. Like, for example, Tunisia.
They are already running
in the UK. Tunisia, be quiet. Tunisia, you live in the UK. You have free healthcare, or it's supposed to be free under NHS. Once TPP passes, right, then a health insurance company, let's say there's like private health insurance companies in the UK, which they are, who typically provide what NHS don't. Those same private health insurance companies are now going to have the right to sue the government And they're going to be able to say that NHS is the government participating in what is a public or private business entity, and therefore that's illegal. And then the government will have to shut down NHS. This is also going to be the case for schools. It's going to be the case for everything. So you think, for example, black folks who are in America, you think you can have school choice?
And Lou, you keep going in and out. You keep going in and out.
I said, for those of us who are in America, you think you don't have school choice now? You think you don't have healthcare options now? When TPP gets signed, you're really not going to have school choice. You're really not going to have healthcare options. It's going to completely, what's going to then happen now is no longer do governments pass legislation to regulate the companies. Now it's going to be the companies that are going to regulate governments.
Wow.
That is a game changer.
They don't even know. Dude, do you know
what is happening now?
Lou, do you know most black people don't even know what the hell TPP stands for?
Absolutely no clue. Absolutely no damn clue.
Trans-Pacific Partnership. Guys.
And that's the problem.
Listen.
We're voting and don't even know what we're voting for or against.
Corporations
and here's the deal.
Since over 200 years ago. Where are you guys? What are you talking about? They've been running the world forever. What are you talking about? That they're going to take over this, they're going to take over that. What are we on here?
And bro, even though we know you think the white man is Thanos, we know that. But what I'm telling you is, just because they've run the
have already been running the world.
The white man has ran the world. Listen, the white man has run the world forever.
Be quiet for a second. To Niger.
Wait, hold on.
No, let me. No, this is. I know what you're about to say. I'm going to articulate in a way that I think he'll understand. To Niger, it's one thing for the corporations to de facto run the world, which is what the case is right now. Meaning they got paid politicians, stuff. But there's somewhat of a checks and balances system, because you get the right person in there, it could shut that stuff down. Now, here's the deal. Once TPP passes, it doesn't matter who you vote for. You could have Bernie Sanders in there. Bernie Sanders will be powerless to make any change, because if he does, then the corporations will be able to sue the government in court and win. Right now, the corporations get 90% of what they want, 80 to 90% of what they want. The people, they get 10 to 20% of what they want. They get some things. Once TPP is signed, the corporations get 100% of what they want. The people get nothing. We're talking about a return to feudalism and the aristocracy. We're about to see foreclosures like never before. A lot of people are going to lose their houses. A lot of people are going to get kicked out of their homes. Businesses are going to be shut down. It's going to be complete decimation. And then they're going to create another stimulus bill, which they're already talking about, in which case they're going to loot the treasury, give the money to big corporations. And you know what they're going to do with that money, Tunisia? They're going to buy up all of it, just like they did in 2008. They're going to buy up all these houses that people are going to be stuck out of. They're going to buy up all these businesses. They're going to buy up all of it.
I think you are not gaming this through. So what is the purpose of this? What are they going to do with all the power that they've got, that they've already got? What are they going to do?
Tunisia, did you just say? I feel like what you're saying here is, why would they want that much power? What's the point?
No. What are they going to do with it? Because you are just saying they are going to take over the world, which they've already taken over a long time ago.
No, they've taken over to a point. But let me show you how this affects Africa. But here's the first thing I'm going to say. First of all, it's going to become a consolidation of power to those people. It's going to create what's in essence what you would call a Hunger Games society, where you have a handful of people at the top with an overwhelming majority of the wealth, and then the stuff that they leave behind, that what's left over, they're going to let the masses fight over it. Now, here's how this affects Africa.
They're already doing that, bro. We're almost there.
Right, but what I'm saying to you is, it's going to be more blatant, more brazen, and there will be no escape from it. Like you're saying, well, it's not going to change my life. Okay, here's the deal. Do you understand under TPP, a private school corporation could sue the government over public schools and say that public schools are in direct competition with our business. Therefore, now the government can't provide public school anymore?
What? even if they sue and they can win, it doesn't change anything. That is not their
That
business.
means they could
That's not what they're
force
after.
everybody to go to a private school. That's what it means.
See, you see,
and those who don't have money. No, listen to Nigeria. This is important. To Nigeria, be quiet for a second. Listen to me. In Nigeria right now, if you don't have money, you don't get educated, right?
Yes.
That's going to be the case everywhere in the world now. So it's going to create a huge gap in every way between the rich and poor, which will literally create a scenario where if you start at the bottom, no matter what you do, it will be almost impossible for you to get to the top. We won't have capitalism anymore. We will have feudalism. Do you know what feudalism is?
Yes.
Yes, that's what we're about to have. That's where we're headed now.
See, what we have right now is feudalism.
And this time, Tunisia, listen, I'm talking. And this time,
just talking.
Here's the deal. Feudalism. Tunisia, be quiet. The last time we had feudalism, the people were able to rebel against the elites, and then that's what ushered in capitalism. This time, however, with technology, weaponry, everything else, the people will not be able to rebel. Now, here's how this goes up against Africa. Here's why this is so bad for Africa. Okay, right now, African countries import at least 50% of their food. Now, the question that a lot of people ask is, how is it that Africa, the most fertile land in the world, has to import food? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, I'll tell you exactly why. Because the African economies are forced to open up their economy completely, and they have to compete globally for outsiders for the domestic market. Now, here's the thing. Watch this. Under TPP, right now, the way it works is the European Western societies, they subsidize their farmers. So by subsidizing their farmers, they allow their farmers to be able to produce food cheaper, even though it costs them more to produce food. Because of the government subsidy, the price of the food is cheaper. And so now you're competing with Purdue from the USA, and then what happens is imported frozen chickens are cheaper than the domestically grown domestic chickens. Now, the way to beat that is for countries to simply close their borders and say, we're not going to go ahead and import. We're not going to play this game with you. We're not going to import food. We're going to subsidize our own farmers, and we're going to rely on domestic production to become food independent. Well, under TPP, there's a provision in there that says the following: if you already have a subsidy, right, for your farmers, you can keep those subsidies. If you don't, then you cannot put a subsidy on. It will be illegal to put a subsidy on. So that means if Nigeria or any African country decides to close its borders and rely to try to bolster its own domestic production to make itself food independent, a corporation from the USA, Canada, or anywhere could then sue that government and force them to open their borders, which is going to maintain food dependency on a part of Africa. And if you cannot produce your own food, if you have to depend on an outside nation to produce your food for you, that nation who's producing your food for you controls you. So at any time, no matter who the Nigerians elect or who anybody elects, for that matter, if they ever do a policy that the powers that be do not like, what those powers could then do is simply stop sending them food. What that's going to do is create mass starvation across the entire populace, and that populace will then rebel against its government. That is why, no matter who's in power in Africa, they can never control their own economy or their own resources because they're not even allowed to feed themselves, plus they have crippling debt. Now, under TPP, that's going to be codified on a permanent basis. So now Africa will be stuck as a low-cost raw materials producer and will never allow Africa to get onto the other side, which is industrialization. And as long as Africa's not industrialized, then they in essence are getting Africa's natural resources for free. Because here's what happens. I go ahead and get coltan from the Congo, then I take for very cheap. Then I take that coltan, I turn it into a cell phone. Then I sell Congolese people that same cell phone for 10 times the price that I paid for the coltan. So that means the Congolese are literally paying me to take their natural resources from them. You're never going to get rich that way.
Okay, so say I take your point, what you've said, and I from the very beginning to the end, in the middle there are some good points that you made, but you made some statement about capitalism just arriving in about 200 years ago or the rest. Capitalism has always existed, by the way. And secondly, when you mention corporations, you use them in a pejorative term, like, oh, they are just evil. There is a reason why they have power. They have power because they offer value. There is a reason why we have 7 billion people in the world today, because corporations created things that created the world you see today.
Tunisia, I'm not bounding corporations. Tunisia, I'm a capitalist. I believe in corporations.
Hold on, but at the same time, you're saying they're about to take over the whole world.
Listen,
on.
Bro,
what I'm saying is with corporations, there need to be checks. What's happening in this particular scenario, Tunisia, in a situation like that, that's not capitalism. Because you're saying to me, you're not competing. Capitalism is competition, and whoever creates the best product wins. That's capitalism. And I'm for that 100%. Capitalism incentivizes people to solve problems and make society better. I believe in that. But what we're having now is actually going to disincentivize the solving of problems. And in fact, incentivize low quality service. Because now I don't have to compete with anybody. What happens now is I create a scenario where...
Let me ask you, you say you love capitalism. So are you okay? Because capitalism is a contract between the citizens and the system, whereby everybody pays into a pot and they use it to create an environment for people to be able to flourish with different ideas, and whoever gets...
That's not capitalism. You need to learn what capitalism is.
What is capitalism?
Lou, you got to let me make a point, because you've been talking for like 20 minutes.
Okay, Tunisia, be quiet for a second. Brandon, go ahead.
Let me say this. What this guy doesn't understand is America is not like Nigeria or any African country. In America, the middle class or the small businesses actually employ more people than the corporations do. So if you destroy small businesses, now you got to find a place for all those people to work. And you won't be able to replace it, because what is capitalism? Businesses are trying to increase their bottom line, which usually the first thing they do to do that is to cut their workforce. So small businesses pay better and hire more people nationwide than corporations do. Have you ever seen movies like Johnny Mnemonic, or movies where people live in these like super urban mega cities and stuff? That's what you're trying to create here when you talk about TPP, where there's extreme poverty and only the wealthy who live at the top have, the different comforts and services. And then everybody else is just kind of trying to run around and eat out of trash cans and stuff to survive.
Brandon, do you know what is creating that? Do you know what is creating that world? It's mechanization.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's mechanization. The world is transitioning from mostly human-based labor to machine-based labor, which means the corporations that own these machines are the ones that own labor and they manufacture things. Now, what would the people be doing? Nothing.
Mechanization is a good thing. It's going to drive down the cost.
Hold on. Let's brother tonight.
Can I talk? So, if you don't own shares in these companies that own these in industries, you will be left standing on the side. Because this is a transition that is happening now. This is why a lot of people...
Niger, you are like a kid. Let me tell you something. When I was in second grade, my teacher, she had a college degree. She told me that by the year 2000, cars would be flying. Her tramp ass was lying, okay? I thought too, just like you. Wait, hold on. I thought the same way you do, because you're like a person watching YouTube thinking, ooh, that's coming up in 3 months. It's going to be, everything's automated. That transition will take decades. In the meanwhile, those corporations are preying on people like you who think corporations will save us. And what they're doing is saying, yeah, let's get their trust. And then when we make a decision based on the interest of our company, all they can do is complain. Even if you look at America right now, they're already training Americans in fear-based programming. They're training you not to go through the processes of government to get what you want. They're saying, look, if you don't like something, you can just go riot and burn stuff down. So what's going to happen is they're destroying the opposition, because every time logical, reasonable people try to propose things, the Democrats are training people to, instead of going and listen to what the other side has to say, just jump to a conclusion and start burning stuff until the government agrees to what they want to do. That is how you create a totalitarian government. That's what Hitler did. People didn't listen to points. People didn't listen to points. All they listened to was whatever the Führer said. Then, if he said the Jews are bad, that means we need to go out and start burning down Jewish businesses and putting them in jail. And they're creating that environment now. Look at all these idiot liberals going out in the streets, burning stuff, marching, protesting, all based on stuff they don't even understand. Joe Biden said, count every vote. And within 10 minutes, you have fools who didn't even know what he meant out in the streets with signs that they count every vote. They're programming the American population to, if you don't agree with it, just go burn it down. And that's how you create a government control state.
Let's go ahead and close out. We'll do with this last question. With Nigel, who do you think is going to win the election?
Yeah. That's a tricky one, man. I'm not okay. If I'm to guess from the numbers right now,
Boris Johnson.
I think this in Biden will squeak it.
Okay, Lou Major.
I think that they're going to try to say that Joe Biden won. I think it's going to be dragged out in court. So, to be honest with you, I have no idea. I think Trump is the actual winner, but I think Joe Biden is the manufactured winner. I word it that way, and we'll see what happens in court. So, I don't know.
All right, go ahead, Brandon.
What I think will happen is that I'm like Lou. I think Donald Trump is the actual winner. He won based on the rules set forth in our Constitution and in our voting laws. But I just believe that, I think Trump still wins because Arizona is not counted. Nevada, they've frozen that, which makes me think that they're trying to build up enough votes, by letting people.
Let's see here. In Nevada, Trump is down by like 11,400 votes, roughly.
Okay, and then I saw numbers as small as 8,000 votes. But if Biden doesn't get Arizona, which I think is still in play, he can't win. He just can't win. So we'll see.
I'm worried about Georgia. That's what I'm worried.
Georgia is done. Statistically,
no, it's not. Georgia's not done, bro. It's not. I don't know where you're getting that from. Georgia's
not. 99. Listen,
I think 99. He can win that way, really. He can win.
Nigel, hold on.
Yep.
99% of the votes in.
It's just horrible.
It's not. Georgia's not done. Georgia's still in play, bro.
99% of the votes in Georgia have been counted. Trump has 49.5. Biden has 49.3. Jorgensen has 1.2. If you add those numbers up, that's 100% of the vote.
You're not listening. There's still like 40,000 outstanding votes. You know how they do in this game. It's just all these outstanding.
Yeah, but they're saying those votes. They're saying those votes are outstanding, meaning some people probably didn't vote. Whatever, outstanding just means unaccounted for.
No, bro. No. Hold on. Let me read. There's still. Here we go. Georgia still has 47,277 ballots remaining to be counted. An official with the Secretary of State's office said. All right, so there we go. That's what we're at.
Yes, but you have to understand, most of those ballots will probably go for Trump because the ballots that got Biden up to where he's close to Trump, those are all the votes that went for Biden, right? Like the lady said, vote harvesting. Now those other ballots are most likely, the highest probability is they're going to go for Donald Trump.
All right, we'll see. Because the thing is, we'll see, bro. We'll see. But everyone, somebody said Georgia may be counting until next week, Monday or Tuesday. I don't understand what the hell. Lou Major, explain what's going on, because they just keep dragging this out, Lou Major. It doesn't make any sense. Lou Major, you there?
I don't get it. I wouldn't let anybody go home if I was in charge of that counting center until they complete the count. I don't get it.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Peace.
All right, bye.